All right. Good evening, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to another episode of Time is Honey. This will be open chat. Tonight. Just kind of chat and hang out. I know some people are about to get some cruddy weather up north. We're looking at some rain down here in the south finally, so kind of pumped about that. Got a beekeeping club started, so I was super pumped about that. Had a beekeeping club meeting Saturday. One person RSVP'd, and about 12 people showed up. So in the end, it turned out really good. A bunch of veteran beekeepers, all different experience levels. It was my mentor. We found another one that was in the area here that's got about 10 years experience in the yard. So really fortunate to have those people on board with us, man. And hey, Daisy, how you doing today? Good to see you. Good to see you. Smash that like. And from there, I talked to the American Legion today, and they're going to let us use the hall for meetings from here on out. So I was really pumped about that. So, but if anybody wants to join, feel free. We could talk bees tonight. So yeah, from the Legion Hall, what I'd like to do is, I mean, if it gets bigger, I mean, for one person RSVP and like then a bunch of other people to show up, it was about 10 or 12 people, and everybody. It was really cool because everybody came and talked about, hey, these are the issues I'm having. You know, there are a lot of new beekeepers there, and that's really good to see because that lets us know that people are doing it, you know. And most of the veterans that we ran into in the meeting are all within a 5-10 mile radius of where everybody lives. So it's not like it's a long ways to get to everybody. Nice, Daisy. Good to see you. Good to see you. So yeah. Good week this week. A lot of experience going around the table. Really pumped about that. Hey, Lee, how you doing, man? Good to see you, brother. Welcome. Good to see you. I had some new shirts made, too. Check it. I had some other ones, too. Got a couple other ones hanging up in the closet. So, yeah, I had a couple shirts made for Christmas. So, yeah, pretty pumped about that. I got another one, and you know how the cops do the thin blue line? Well, family member made me one, and it's a flag. I'll show it. Hang on. So this one right here, this one's sick. I love this one. This one's super legit right here. This one's pretty cool. Got bees on the flag right here. And then this one. This one's dope. I like this one. So yeah, a little bit of merchandise. Which one, DC? Which one you like better? Yeah, Lee, you're sick, man. Hey, are you feeling all right, Lee? Yeah, the flag's dope, right? The flag's cool, right? I dig that one too. That one's way rad. Michael, 25 in snow. Yeah, you guys are about to get some cold weather up there, man. Yeah, we're just going to get rain down here. James, good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome. Let the stream get built up a little bit. It's kind of BSing around right now. Lee, what happened, man? You all right, man? Pretty dope shirts, right? You like them, Clueless? They're sick, right? Family member with a brilliant mind made them for me, man. Yeah. Made this. See the logo for my channel? They made that too. Yep. Yeah, and I think what I'm going to do, if the club gets kicked off, I'd like to make like the flags the shirt for our club, for our beekeeping club here. So yeah, I'm really pumped about those. Yeah, they came out really nice, man. Yeah, I love shirts, wearing shirts like this and shit, dude. I really do. What happened, Lee? Hey, Garrison, good to see you, man. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Wire brush boxes look like. Oh, okay. I've wire brushed some old boxes. Yes, you feel like I like the charred look to them, man. That's just me. I'll go get one of my charred boxes if you guys want to see it. That way you can have an idea of what it looks like up close. I mean, I don't know if anybody's like seeing all the charred boxes or anything, but and you know what? Sitting there charred in a box is actually it's kind of therapeutic, man. It really is. Yeah, man. I'm all about like, brand your yard, man. Brand your yard. Why not? Why not brand your yard? Brand your product. You want to see a char box? Okay, hang on. Let me go get one. All right, take a peek here. So charred frames, check it out. Charred frames. It probably takes. I'll give you time frame on this. To char a frame with a little butane torch probably takes about 2 minutes, three minutes maybe, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So you're looking at what 20, 30 minutes to char your frames. Okay. So that's the finished product. You char inside. I char everything inside and outside, and then of course wax the frames. And then there's the inside of the boxes. I don't know if you guys could see that, but that's what the inside of the boxes look like. So then I put license plate on the front of it, old license plate. So yeah. Yeah, and you know what it does? I was talking to my mentor about this, man. We're talking about foul brood and stuff, right? And what is foul? It gets in the pores in the wood, right? And that's where the bacteria growth occurs, right? That's where the growth occurs. Why not char the wood? Because the old Tennessee beekeepers did this. You know what? I'm not one to judge. I just char them until like I see, I guess, like an even burn mark across. Sometimes you might get in the corners because I try to get in the corners really well, right? So I might get a little overcharred in the corners, but dude, if you go to the overstock paint aisle and you get like cheap paint, that paint that I painted those boxes with, I got from Sherwin-Williams, and they gave me a half a gallon of free paint of exterior like primo paint, and it painted me 5 boxes, man. Exterior latex paint. It's super weatherproof, man. Super weatherproof. And what's nice about it, the color of the paint is right now it's been getting cold in the evening, right? When the sun hits it in the morning, it's warming the box up real quick. So, the paint is working out okay. In the summertime, a little bit different. Yeah, good to see everybody tonight, man. Good to see everybody. Seeing everybody, man. Dennis, Tex, Clueless, Jeff, Granny. See all you guys, man. Thanks for coming in tonight. Thanks for coming in. Feel free to join the chat tonight. Talk about anything we want, really. That's cool, Bob. Take a chill, man. Yeah, what it does, Grammy, it's an old school technique. It's actually the Japanese used it. It's a super ancient method, and the reason they did it was to prevent mold and rot. Okay, because if you think about wood, put a piece of pine under a microscope, right? You're gonna see millions of little pores in the wood, right? Now, what you do when you yeah, it gives a rot resistance. It gives the bees have to propolize less. There, yeah, Shisugiban. Yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah, thank you, Clueless. Shisugiban. It makes a lot of sense, right, Grammy? It really does. Hillbilly taught me. I was watching his videos, and my parents used to own a nursery, right? My parents had a nursery for 15 years. And I was talking to my old man about it. He's like, "Yep, strengthens the wood, seals the pores, and it leaves less room for bacteria." Now, say you get a box from one of your dealers. What if that box has some kind of spore in it already you don't know about, right? Burn your boxes. Take the little bit of extra time. It's preventive maintenance, right? You would go to the doctor. It's preventative maintenance on your gear. It's preventative maintenance. I'll never have to touch my boxes again. And I do. I thoroughly enjoy sitting out back and I'll burn boxes. It's fun. It's part of the process in dealing with mental health and anxiety. It gives me something to focus on. It really does. Sitting there takes me about an hour to do a full box. So I'll try the inside, the frames, um, the inside of the top cover, everything. I'll char it all. Right, Tex? I forget my burgers. I char them. Pyro. Yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy it, Grammy. I do. Yep, I enjoy it. So yeah, and it really does. It helps the health of the colony overall. They do. Thank you. Fire and water both have calming effects. Yeah, and you know what's really fun is to watch the wood burn. Like watching the wood. It really is. It's like ASMR. You could no BS do an ASMR video on just burning the wood on a bee box because you could watch the wood grains burn, and it's real cool. That's what I get. Honestly, that's what I like about the process. Yeah, I burn the bottom board too. I burn the interior of the bottom board, right? I'll burn the inside of all the whole box, man. I burn it all. Yep. Bottom board too. It's fun, right? Clueless? You feel me? It's super neato, right? Yep. Bond with the harder grains. Yep. Because there's sugars in wood, right? There's little sugars in wood. And when you burn those sugars, it bonds everything. Yeah. Bonds the sugars with the harder grains. Hmm. And my mentor is like, I always wondered why people burn their boxes. And again, it was Hillbilly who taught me that, guys. It was Hillbilly's channel who taught me that because the old beekeepers in backwoods Tennessee back in the day when they're dealing with foul brood, dude, they didn't have medicine like we did. They had to learn their process on the fly. What kills everything? Heat, right? Heat kills everything. Well, what Hillbilly said, the old school Tennessee beekeepers, um, I love it. Yeah, it's good. It's good. I think I might the next box I do, I think I might even do the whole thing and then treat it with some kind of, I don't know what I'm gonna treat it with on the outside. Bob might be able to help me with that. There's a stain you can use, a clear varnish you can use after you burn a box. Yep. Yeah. Old fences and barns have the exposed fiber grain. Yeah, man. And it does. It really helps. It helps. It's a little bit of preventive maintenance, man. It really is. What it comes down to is the health of the bees. I'm going to do anything I can in my yard to make sure my bees are healthy. They do the least amount of work keeping their house clean. That way they could be out foraging and producing brood and honey, right? We want our bees to work harder. They're going to work hard anyways. Okay, tongue oil. Okay. Okay, marine varnish. That's okay. And there's a certain type you use, right, Bob? It's linseed or tongue. See, I was even thinking linseed oil. What's ultimately gonna give it, say, the longest? The marine, the tongue, or the linseed oil. Are they all gonna have about the same residual, or is one gonna last longer than the other? Yeah, I only want to refinish my gear once, guys. That's it. Use the marine. Okay, so go marine. Okay, takes a long time. Marine finish will last the longest. Okay, that's what I want. I want the longest lasting. If I have to go out every 5 years and retouch my boxes, hey, that's cool. I'm all right with that. Yeah, you're gonna definitely have to reapply the oils after a while. So don't taste it in the name of science, Tex. All right, man. All right. And the oils you have to reapply after a while. Okay. Yeah, I definitely recommend burning everything. See, and you want to burn everything. You want to burn the grooves. See, I kind of missed this groove, but you want to get inside these grooves because this bacteria can form in there, right? You could get spores in there. Not with sealed up wood though, right? So this one might have to reburn. I'm not going to do it right here, but you can kind of see on the inside where this one, you can kind of see a little bit. Use marine grade materials; it'll last. Okay. Okay, Daisy. I'm curious on the laws on that. I know in Texas you got to burn all your gear. It's zero tolerance in Texas. You got to burn your gear. It's zero tolerance. You're like, nope, get rid of your gear. Got to burn it. Yeah, you guys, I recommend it. Take a little bit extra time and burn your gear. And that's also what I've been told too, is that bees prefer a burnt box smell over uh anything. I'm guessing it smells sterilized to them. It smells clean. Okay, so New York's one of them. Okay. Yeah, some states are different with foul brood. I know I live in an agriculture county and you have to burn your boxes. I think in Texas, it just in general, you got to burn your gear. I'll double check the laws, but I'm pretty sure you got to get rid of your gear, man. Because they don't want any kind of foreign organism here decimating crops. They already have too many issues with crops here. So the biggest one is pigs. Biggest one is wild pigs that are out here, the Spanish pigs that are tearing up the crops. So that's the issue. Submarine. And here's what, DC, this is also what my mentor told me is that the charred boxes will draw the moisture out too. That's exactly what my mentor told me. The burnt box also helps draw moisture out, prevents moisture, not draw it out, but it prevents moisture from accumulating inside the box. There's a lot of benefits to it, man. Oh yeah, you should see some of the sap I've pulled to the surface on some of these boxes, man. It's crazy. You see the sap like bubble out. It's crazy. Yeah, spores are everywhere. Yep. Yeah. It does. The carbon, you think it's carbon char, right? It's carbon. A lot of good things come from carbon, so especially with that, like the chart. I mean, it really does. If you think about it, it's allows the box to breathe. Basically, gives the box like in its own environment, its own self-contained, controlled environment, and the bees, with them regulating their own body heat and their own temperature. I mean, think of what. Just saying, the health of the colony, guys. I'm always going to do whatever I can, no matter how long it takes, to make sure the bees stay healthy. Always. Because those bees I have in my yard, it's a feral colony. It's a whatever you guys want to call it, feral, wild, what have you. But they did survive the last 3 harshest winters here in Texas on their own. So causing dry rot. Some people with dry rot is you seal the outside on the wood. See, and that's kind of where I'm at, Clueless. These bees look strong, dude. They're not. This is my first winter with them, right? And I'm not expecting any product, no honey, not even this year. I'm not even expecting it next year, technically. They still haven't made it out of winter yet. And that's the thing. These bees, where I got them, Clueless, were 2 hours south of me on some people's ranch. And they probably have genetics from a 14 square mile, area, I'm guessing. Who knows? More? I don't know. But the fact, and this is the thing, Clueless, where they were surviving, right, was between like the which one? This one? Clueless? Yeah, I'll find out the information. Okay, I'll find out information. Yeah, I would like to do wax dipping. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I'll find out who the person is that made them. Yeah, I think some of them I'm going to keep exclusive for the channel because they were a gift. So some of them I'm definitely going to keep exclusive because I don't want to give them all out. They were gifts technically, and these were, yeah. You won't find. I don't think you'll find these anywhere. Maybe you might be able to. I don't know. I don't know. Yo, Bob Walker B's in the house.
Hey, brother.
Feeling all right?
Yeah, got the music going. Cool.
Yeah. How you feel today?
I feel like 50 pounds of poop in a 25-pound sack.
Feel like a bag of smashed assholes. You can say it. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The I've got a blockage in one of my arteries, and today has just not been a good day, man.
Did you go to the VA, bro, or what?
No, I might go tomorrow. I was contemplating going to the emergency room, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna chill and see what happens right now.
Oh, you should just go to the ER, man.
And so just feeling bad, but yeah, I don't even look good. He says, "Well, I didn't look good before. I didn't feel good. I didn't look good before I didn't feel good. So there you go."
Oh man, how's your girls doing, man?
Well, doing good. They were out flying today. It was, still cold, 50, 55 or so today, and windy, but they were out flying, doing their thing.
Eat some honey, Bob.
I've got it here. I've been eating honey.
Hit it.
I even yesterday I started my first batch of mead, so we'll see how that goes.
How long does a batch of mead typically take? Lee, you still in here? Lee, how long does a batch of mead take, brother?
The kit that I got said 30 days. So
okay, so 30 days from start to finish.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know. That's just what my kit said. So I'm following the directions in the box that my daughter gave me for Christmas. So
now the longer you let your mead sit, right? Will it continue to age?
Well, I mean, yeah, aging is getting older, right? But it won't continue to ferment.
Okay, that's
once the sugar has been consumed by the yeast, it can't ferment anymore.
Okay, that's what I was curious about. Okay.
So
you got Brad in here. What's up, man? Y'all feel free to join the chat too, man. It's open chat tonight.
And
1 to 6 months. Okay. 1 to 6 months.
I got some poly nukes coming. I bought from Better Bee. So we're gonna try some of those out. 6 frames.
Yeah, Bob, you're going to the hospital tomorrow.
Yeah. You guys have decided for
me. Yeah, no, y'all tell him he's going to the hospital tomorrow.
Well,
he goes.
The VA, they closed down their like walk-in clinic at 7:30 or something at night, and it was like right about that time. I mean, I came home, I laid down, and I was just vegging.
Well, make sure you get there first thing in the morning, man. It's a work, dude. It's Tuesday.
Yeah.
Walk your happy ass in onto the VA and go get checked out.
I can't miss the live tomorrow.
No, you won't.
Put me in the hospital.
Well, what's more important is your life. That way you can come back and work the bees.
I would have to leave Lee talking to Ian and Brad and James.
Well, I'm sure they'd be happier to see you back here. Yeah.
So, I've got a blocked artery, or 50% blocked artery last time I was checked. So just some days I just don't feel good, guys. And today happens to be one of those. But I figured I'd come in here and chat to you for a minute. And I know you usually go about an hour or so. And
I'll probably run a little bit tonight because I got the beekeeping group going out here in the hill country where I live. It started out really well, actually.
So you had that meeting already, or
Saturday? One person RSVP'd and about 10, 12 people showed up.
Nice.
Yeah,
Swarm lures got out or no? Not yet.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. I gave one to a guy. He had been trying to get into Heroes to Hives, and he said he had a hard time getting in. So we told, hey, retry because they fixed the problem. And then I ended up giving him a swarm trap with one of the lures and your swarm lure. So I was like, hey, dude, there's a swarm bullet in there. I was like, just use that first. And once it dries out, just spray some of that swarm lure in there. He's like, all right, cool. And he said he bought a top bar hive on offer up somewhere for like $60. I was like, damn, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
I was like, dang, dude.
60 bucks is a good deal for sure.
Yeah, I'm curious what it looks like, you know. But yeah, a bunch of people showed up. Yeah, and everybody's real interested, you know. There's several older people there. It was, and some this couple, they had a colony, right? What had happened, they'd had them there for, I don't know, maybe a few weeks, and the bees left. They're like, we don't know why they left. They never came back. So
now it was what was it, a swarm, or they just had bees?
I didn't get the full story. I think they had bees in the box. Like somebody, like they had got a setup or something, right?
Right.
And I don't know if they were feeding them. I think they just put the bees in the box and expect them to, like, you know.
No,
I don't know. I don't know the story, but yeah, the bees had left, and you know, it was really cool to see that there was actually a lot of veterans within the area here that wanted to do beekeeping, that were already involved in it, man. You know, I had
awesome.
a mom and her daughter. You know, a gentleman and his wife had already had, 10 years in the yard, which was really nice. So him and John showed up. When him and John showed up, and I need to get him, what I plan on doing with John, because John wants to write a book about like keeping out here in Texas, right? In southern Texas. And I want to get him and John sitting down together and just get them talking bees. That's it. Get them recording and then start transcribing it into a book.
Right.
Because John's been keeping bees down here in South Texas for 40 plus years, man. And he said, let's get it out on information, because once we're gone, dude, this information's gone, dude. I'm like,
yeah,
okay.
that's one reason why a lot of times when I'm searching YouTube for beekeeping, I specifically look for younger beekeepers like Curtis, the junior beekeeper, and then Grayson at Wild Woods, and if I can help them with their channel, I mean, to me, their channel is exciting to them, right? So, I guess Grayson had David Burns on there earlier, and he's had some big names, and that's good. I think, if they can stay enthused and excited about it, that's the future.
And
old guys are, what do we got? 15, 20 years of beekeeping, hopefully,
before your back starts going out and you can't lift the honey supers anymore.
Or the ticker gives out, or, as veterans, we just fall over for whatever ungodly reason.
Yeah. And you know what my mentor says? He's like, don't ever give up with beekeeping. That was his number one thing he told me. He's like, you're going to hit snags. And he's like, you're going to sit there and you're going to beat your head against the wall. But he was like, just don't give up.
Yeah, that's what Bob Binney said to us.
Don't give up.
I asked him in that interview at Hive Life with Lee, I said, well, if there was one piece of advice that probably didn't make one of your videos that, you would give out to, backyard to small sideliner or something like that, what would it be? He said, same thing. Don't give up, because you don't know. You might have 2 or 3 bad years in a row, and you don't know if it's the first years you're getting in, or, you might have a couple good years and then a bad streak. So it's going to happen. You just got to stay with it and keep going, and it'll eventually work its way out.
Yeah. And if I make it out of this year with 3 colonies in the winter, I'll be happy. If I make it in the winter with 2, because I'm coming out of summer with more than I had. So, and like Lewis was saying, it's good to have feral colonies, because I'm pretty sure these girls are going to come out hot rod. I don't know. The way they're looking right now, I think they're already brooding up right now, because they sure crap are standing out on the front door fanning a lot.
I had a colony that James McNally's kind of been helping me with. It was the Kearney Olin one, and they just had a little cluster. Yeah. And so I started starting to work with them. And so what I did was last week I shook some nurse bees into a pro nuke and then added them to that colony to give
Yeah.
her more bees to cover brood, right?
Yep.
And then James suggested, well, hey, take that deep box that they're not using off of the bottom and just make it a single medium
Mm-hmm.
to give them less space to have to heat.
Yeah.
And I put some pollen patty in there and a bucket feeder on it. And now it's now today it had, now we're talking mediums, not deeps, right?
Hey,
So
Kai.
I had 5 or 6 frames with bees on it. So
Hey,
in
welcome to
between
chat, K
us,
Farms Bees. That's the first time I've seen you in here.
so
Welcome.
it's definitely looks like it's going in the right direction. So I might
Mhm.
this week go back out. I'm gonna give them a few more days without really messing with them,
Yeah.
and then I'll probably go out there and add another medium
Okay.
and kind of do a little. I don't know if I'll do a full checkerboard, maybe pull 1 or 2 frames up and condense them down,
Mhm.
kind of make them like maybe a 3/3 with
Yeah.
4 frames on the outside. So the
Yeah.
brood can stay right in that center circle,
Yep.
but they have a reason to move up and down and start working the other frames out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
so who was it? Jeff asked about I'm not really having trouble breathing. I'm just having like the fluttering, pounding heart. Even just laying in bed. It's not like I'm running or anything. I'll just get that you know.
Kai, what country are you from, brother? Awesome. I like hearing about other people from other countries. Join the stream, man. Tell us about how you guys are keeping bees over in your country, man. Would love to hear it, man. We're all let's let this guy. I'm from Texas. Where's everybody from? Oh, Jamaica.
Jamaica man.
Nice, man. Okay, cool. Right on.
Nice.
Welcome.
Nice. Not that I'm aware of. I mean, my heart rate was like when we checked, it wasn't bad. So that's what really just made me decide to not go to the hospital at the moment.
All right, so we got Wyoming, Austin. Okay. What part of Jamaica are you from? That's
Kingston.
Cool,
Let's say Kingston.
yeah. I was in
I'm
Jamaica not
guessing.
long ago on a cruise. It's really pretty there, man. For West Virginia? All right, cool. Right on. See how diverse to look at that. All the way from Jamaica. That's rad, man. Y'all give that let's see here. Let me see. What is it? KE Farms and Bees. Let me see if I can get a link in here. Give me 1 second.
Got some
Here we go.
got any content?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Nice.
Definitely.
Well, when you drop that link, I'll drop a sub.
Yeah, buddy. Same here.
I actually had someone from Washington State order some lure off of Amazon.
Nice.
So, all right,
Let's take a peek here. We're gonna check out some of your videos, man. You guys give them a like and subscribe. Here we go. Okay, here's from 4 days ago. This one's called 2023.
That was weird.
All right, here we go.
Give you some insight into is how do we make queens and kind of like the process, walk you through what we do.
I like your apiary setup, man.
Yes, and kind of show you how
Is that Polyhives? Does he have Polyhives right there?
So that I can.
Or is that wood?
Are those wood or Polyhives, boss?
Young queens on the reserve.
I see he's got some wood, but that looks kind of like poly right there.
So what I'm here beside is this colony here. It is what we would refer to as a
wood. Okay, they're all wood.
Builder. Now, typically, there's 2 parts to the setup. They refer to it as the cell builder and then the finisher. The cell builder
grafting.
Where you really want that portion of the setup to be absolutely hopelessly queenless, where there's not a larva in there that is of the right age where the bees can change it into a queen, and what you want also in there is a lot of
I want to see how
nurses,
you're.
a lot of food, a lot of pollen, and what you also want to simulate, and it's good to simulate this, is some form of foraging action taking place. So it will all
How? Hey, Kai, how long is your pollen, your nectar flow down there?
Being
Do you,
tropical, you would think it would almost
do you-
be all year round.
is it year
Almost.
round, or do you guys have like extreme weather events where it say knocks out all your pollen sources? Okay, so you just okay. I'd like to see you working your bees, man, for sure. You got a nice channel, man, for sure.
I like the music that pops up there.
Yeah, man, same.
Dun, dun, dun. So yeah, I dropped a sub there.
Same here, man. I did too. You got my sub, man, for sure. Let's check his bees out. Let's check his girls.
Phone
out.
charging slowly? This is the fastest phone charger
Partial
on the market.
flows. Okay.
There's a 90%.
So you guys get partial flows. You guys don't have year-round flows. All right. Thanks for filling us in, man. I think I'm already subbed to you, Clueless. Pretty sure I am, dude.
No,
Yeah,
I
I'm
am.
subbed to you.
I watched one of your videos today.
Yeah.
I like the marimba sound going on.
welcome again to another day in the April with me. Last week, see, our way of kind of feeding them is just to basically a clear bag. Usually the 9 by 60, 9 by 20 bags we utilize, and we kind of just ensure that the bees get up a good amount. So I think last week we came here with like half-gallon and quarter-gallon patches and gave the bees. And then we gave them some pollen substitute. As you can see, this is what's left. Missed that Hive Beetle just now. But yeah, this is like a small little piece of pollen patty I gave them, and this is what's left over.
Nice,
And usually
man.
this is what happens, guys, when it gets dried out. You know, they tend not to want it much. But this time around, I kind of changed the formula
It is. You got a real clean looking hive, man. What was that? An 8, 4, yes, 5,
a little bit.
10 frame.
So the batch that I bring today is a little bit more fresher. So first frame out, you can see that they're probably storing most of the syrup that was fed to them. The frame isn't filled out. There's quite a bit of empty cells.
Man, I love to watch bees work. It's so cool. Look at all of them. They're all. It's like they each have their own kind of predetermined.
Yeah, I like his channel already. You get to watch
Yeah.
the bees and you get to hear the Jamaican accent
Yeah,
in the
dude,
background.
digging it. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Digging
That's
it, dude.
awesome.
Yeah, fully loving it, man. For real on this, man. This is legit. Yeah. Love the accent. Love watching you work your bees. And look how busy they are, too.
So we know that they have capacity to actually be fed more. As I said, I love to see when there's actually a single frame at least that's just fully food in the hive. All right. So it's a little bit overcast in the morning. Don't see the sun kind of peeking out yet. So I suspect they're gonna be a little bit antsy with me. All right, so a little bit more compact brood I'm seeing now. Last time they seemed like the queen was holding back her laying. So I guess with the little supplement it kind of picked up a little.
All right.
But we're not gonna expect.
See, I would be playing it totally up. If I had that accent, I would be playing it up on my intro video.
Right.
Welcome to Jamaica,
Right.
home of my happy little bees. You know, I would be playing it up, man. I'd be marketing that, pushing that.
Yeah, you got a nice setup, man. I'm enjoying
For sure.
this.
All that.
Yeah.
So all right, look at this frame, guys. So
Look at
this
that.
frame is a little bit more packed out. So a hive like this, I wouldn't necessarily. Well, it does have space to take some more, but I think they're leaving that space for the queen to lay. So it's like they made a very large honey heart or honey section for the queen in the hive. All right, so
Man, look at
you
that.
see where they kind of make a little honey heart. Queen laying a very compact frame. Yeah, man. So this hive definitely can get more.
Look
I'm
how
curious.
his inspections are real quick. You guys notice this? Dude, you're good at your inspections too. You're going in
Yeah.
there, checking your frames, bam, done, back in.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. I'm watching, I dig it. Dig it. See, Kai, and that's what's important, man.
Yeah.
Is sharing your insight, getting people involved, man, because these are our food source.
I like, I don't spend a lot of time looking for my queens. I kind of work once I see that that pollen, right? Once I see a pollen frame, typically I start seeing the brood in like the next frame.
Yeah.
So I'll pull it up. If I see eggs in there, I put it back, done. Don't need to see her. Done with that one, right?
Yeah. In and out, man. You really do, because you risk running killing the queen if you're in there for so long. It's like being up on a ladder. Longer you're up there, the more risk you're gonna take.
Feed, to be honest with you. So
and I bet you he sells a ton of honey too.
Yeah, how do you do with your honey over there, Yari? You do all right with it, or Kai farm?
Well, that is true, DC. It's not an accent in Jamaica. It's just called talking.
Yeah.
I'm going to definitely just feed everybody probably the gallon and just see how that works.
Okay, so you can never have enough honey. Sold out all the time. I bet you guys get some good like honey over there too. All those exotic flowers and all that exotic nectar.
Yeah.
I bet those bees just tear it up over there, man. I can only imagine what your honey tastes like. It's got to taste really good. I'd be willing to swap some honey with you, my man. Some Texas honey for some honey, man.
Works out.
How long have you been keeping bees?
It has the space. It has the frames up top, so nothing should go wrong with that. There you go.
Man, look at that.
Nice compact frame.
Yeah,
so
it
this
is.
hive is
Dude, you got a nice laying queen there, man.
looking much better.
3 years. Yeah, he's been
Nice.
The one decided.
Right on, man.
I'm assuming it's because this already had enough food supply on it. So with me giving it that extra supply and stimulating it, we'll definitely see that growth from them. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so honey products are banned from imports. You can only export. Wow. Okay. You guys
know
have
what that
strict import
means?
laws, yeah.
That's awesome, because that means everybody has to buy your honey or local honey.
Yep.
That is a good thing.
Okay.
He's not getting any Japanese or Chinese adulterated honey.
Yeah. Do they also do that to prevent like a foreign organism into the environment? Or is it?
I think from probably for the Jamaican economy.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. That's what I was thinking too. Because I know Australia has really strict import laws because their main reason is because they don't want a foreign organism coming in and wiping out their ecosystem.
Well, it's different from, importing to resell or import if you sent a gift and swap and try it that way, right? A little bit different philosophy behind it. But it was done to fight the spread of disease. So that's cool.
Okay. Awesome, man. That's good to know, man.
I'll
still get some of your honey anyways.
It seems as if, let's see, we placed the foundation sheet here, which I feel like isn't doing much right now.
Yeah, it makes sense, right, Filament? Like, what if there's some kind of, microorganism in the honey that gets into their bees over there? Never know.
Oh, they had...
foul brood. They said, yep, no more. Yeah, okay. Perfect. I don't see why not.
So I'm going to move this out.
Perfectly valid reason.
And I'm going to actually put it to the end. I don't think they're ready yet for a foundation sheet.
Label as facial cream.
Yeah, they're not building much on this sheet at all. So that means they're not ready for it yet. There's just sometimes the bees don't want to build anything. You don't need to force them. But definitely, I feel next week when I probably put that gallon on them, they will definitely probably start thinking otherwise,
Let's see your other box
in their brood nest. And that's kind of what they did. So all of these frames are kind of like empty and dry. Definitely next time this one is getting a gallon. Yeah, man, for sure, guys. The reason why
Do you guys deal with how's varroa mite down there?
If
And
they're
if you
lucky, they don't have any.
and if you say you do have it, what's your country's policies on chemical treatment?
I did hear him say he had Hive Beetle.
Yeah, I'm sure. Oh, I'm sure he's got hive beetles down there for sure. I don't know. Maybe they don't.
No, he said he had Hive Beetle, but
Oh, okay. Yeah, it doesn't look like you have much hive beetles though, man. You're.
nah, not like we do. But he said he just had like one. I think he said in the
Oh, okay.
first one.
Do you have a lot of varroa mite down there though, like we do in the States? Because varroa is a big problem up
I
there.
gave them such a small portion first is to see how they react to it, right? Usually I prefer to do that
Yeah,
than
they
just
got
give
him.
them the big
Okay.
gallon at the first go. Because
Integrated
what
management.
happens, some bees will really
Okay.
store a lot,
Nice, man.
while some don't. And when
Dude, you got some pretty gentle bees too. You don't have Africanized bees, I'm guessing. That's pretty cool, man. Look how calm they are. Just
you have
noticing
those that store a lot, you might actually cause them to swarm or abscond away because they become bounded by whatever feed you give them. You know, especially if you give them a lot. So me feeding them that like half gallon amount was really just a gauge to see how they react to it and how they utilize it over a week period, basically. So looking like they did a pretty decent job in patching in some of the nectar arches with it.
Are those Italians or Carnies or?
I see where
I
Yeah,
can
what
tell
kind
they're
of?
not Russian. I can tell they're not Russian, but probably Italian or Carney.
Yeah, aren't the Russians a little bit blacker, a little bit darker?
Well, I don't have any, but from what I've told, they're a little bit more aggressive bees.
Oh,
So
okay. Hey, Brian. Good to see you, man. Good evening. Good evening. Jamaica has no straight line.
okay.
It's all hybrid.
the brood or the larvae are looking a little bit more white and milky and not too dry like last time.
We got a new beekeeper in our group from Jamaica, man. It's pretty awesome. He just popped up in the live, Brian, and he's showing us his gear, man. Showing us his yard. So he's down in Jamaica, been beekeeping for 3 years, and he's telling us a little bit about. He's in the chat here, telling us a little bit about how he's doing.
Now I got a reason to take my wife to Jamaica. So
I know, right? Next time I'm down there, yep. Guess what? We're gonna come to your bee yard, dude. I guarantee, Kai, we're gonna meet in the future. I guarantee it. What side of the island are you on? The north or the south side? It is. It's wonderful, right? They never go broodless. Dude, that's so awesome.
Well, they don't go broodless here either.
No,
Probably not where you're at.
Yeah, that's
cool. You know, normally when you look into the larvae or the cells, larvae that have like the royal jelly and little food around them.
But Kai, do they go down to a smaller brood pattern? Do you seem to have a pretty consistent brood pattern throughout the whole year? Good night, Grammy. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping in. Night, good night, good night. Smash that like on the way in or out. Southside Clarendon. Okay.
That's the it's hard to tell looking at a video, even on my videos or your videos, anybody's, when you look at them, because all we can judge is the cap brood, right? We can't even see the eggs and larvae typically on the video. So
we're only seeing the cap brood. Yeah, I mean, he could have more brood in there that's uncapped still.
And he said they got a
hurricane
rainy season. Yeah, September through November. When I don't know when was put out, this video, but
I'm wondering if they feel the pressure. I'm guessing
barometric pressure. Probably
they got to feel the barometric pressure change down there in order for them to go slow down brooding. That's what I'm thinking. Yep, just like when it get cold up here,
Oh, okay. So it was during that time.
Okay, so this is when they were going. What you say they reduce laying in the hurricane season.
Well, you think they probably do that when it rains here too, and they're
Ah,
inside the colony, right?
yep.
They probably
So
are reducing it.
Okay, so you feed during hurricane season.
Whenever you see it, you can know.
Yeah,
there's
send us some rain, dude, in
difference,
Texas.
a visual difference in terms of how
Crap.
they look when they're much healthier and they're getting fed more, as opposed to when food is limited. You know, when food is limited, that speck that they're in, speck of royal jelly and nutrients and stuff that the nurse bees feed them, will look dry and look like a small to speck. You know, but when the bees have food to feed them, you can see it look like a milky white substance. You know, like just rich and shiny.
Hey, Philip,
All
good to
right,
see you.
guys. So we did basically 3 so far. We're not gonna record all of them because
Look how he did his stance too. Check this out, y'all. Look at his pest stance. These are really cool stands, dude. I like these. Where'd you get them? What are these? This looks like an old table stand or something like that. Like an old frame for a table, right?
Like a coffee table almost.
Yeah, man, that's cool. Like, look, see how easy it is to make a bee stand, y'all? Look, he's got his beetle barrier right here. Then he's got leg stands. It looks like he maybe puts water in these. Puts the upside down Coke bottles. Looks. Do you grease your stands too? Okay, rebar.
A pipe stopgap on the top of a bottle to keep the
Okay.
water from getting in it, right? So the ants have to go in.
Yeah, so
or
they got to
go around.
crawl in. Yeah. Okay. This is a nice stand, man. Cool setup.
it's not gonna be a very interesting video to see all the
Dig it.
hives
Dig it.
and me doing the same thing over and over. Because pretty much, as I said, what I'm doing right now is just kind of checking in to see what outcome of the feed that I gave them last time.
Dude, I like how resourceful you are with your entrance reducers too. Look, you just put cardboard in it. That's so awesome.
It works.
It works, man. Look at that. It works. Serves the purpose. Reduce that entrance. Molly lube around the edge. Okay. That's what I'm using. I'm using some red axle grease.
Time made on the hives and kind of just give them that boost of pollen this time around, you know. And then next time I come back, I'm going to
Look
give
how much
them
pollen they're bringing in, though.
definitely some more
Look at
feed.
them.
But for sure, I saw these 2 hives at the end here. They kind of picked up in terms of activity. Definitely, I'm actually seeing where they're bringing in some white pollen. So that white pollen might be coconut, basically.
Coconut pollen. That's
Wow.
interesting.
That's cool, man. Okay.
The
Is that? Go ahead, Bob.
I did that live today, and I showed the pollen frame, and I've got like red pollen, yellow pollen, a little bit of green pollen in there.
Yeah.
It was pretty sharp. But coconut pollen, that's interesting.
Yeah. How is that? Is that their go-to source for protein there, or Flower Streets from Colorado, Brian? What are the major plant sources in Jamaica? Well, I'm real curious about that too, man. You know, what's your go-to pollen source for your bees, for your girls, man?
I think they would have like orchids and stuff.
Yeah,
like that,
orchids. Right? You know, yeah. When I was in Jamaica, there's a lot of pretty flowers all over the place. Okay. Awesome,
That'd
man.
be cool.
Yeah, I'm almost sure it's coconut that they're finding. So that's a good sign,
Nice.
basically. But I'm still going to leave
real
each
diverse.
of them with that ½ pound of pollen substitute and just let them do what they need to do.
I'm curious, where do you get your bee supplies in Jamaica? Do you have a local store? Do you have to order them from like the States?
Making them?
Well, he said pollen sub, right? So, I mean, he's probably getting pollen sub from either a local store or Man Lake or something, because it was orange like Ultra Bee or something like that.
Yeah, we've got somebody coming in here. Let's take a peek here. Philip Corner, what up? Spanky in the house.
Hey, Spanky.
Hi.
And
you made your pollen stuff. Okay.
Well, that's awesome because it looks just like Ultra Bee or something like that.
I'm curious how you made it, man.
To make it come out orange like that.
Yeah, I'm curious how you made it. When I just started, I got equipment from Man Lake.
I bet you the shipping was kind of outrageous on that.
What did you made your own pollen sub? Oh, you could use. Oh, you have pollen traps. Okay. Okay.
So he uses real pollen on his end.
Nice. So you're giving your pollen right back to your bees, man. That's awesome. Okay. All right. And you can use other. John says he'll use like soy flour sometimes as a sub. But dang coconut, I guess you could use that too, like a coconut sub or something. Pollen traps, that's awesome,
The
man.
space, if they want to move up and brood
What's up,
up in
Spanky?
the top section, they can.
Not much.
They don't need to, that's fine. You know, but these two were kind of like the stronger of all of them here. Remember, guys, the strategy of what we did was basically last time we kind of gauged some of them. So we brought some half-gallon bags of sugar, quarter-gallon, and stuff like that.
Nice.
For the weaker ones, for the smaller ones, we gave those the larger portion of syrup. For the
this is really cool, man. What I dig about this is you're telling people like your feeding regimen, man, like and how you're feeding your bees compared to their strength and their weaknesses. You know, you're saying, hey, I did this, I put this amount of pollen sub with this, you know, and this and this. That's really cool, man. Plastic bag syrups, 27 mating castles. Man, you're on it, dude. 2 apiaries, 10 at 1. Nice, man. So you got a good little operation going, dude.
Yep.
Radical, man. Right on. Right on. Spanky, what's up, man?
No, not too much.
Yeah? How's your girls?
I'll have to get some more.
Oh, you do?
I talked to a guy today, Spanky. He's in Lenore. So might be able to get some bees from him. And Stuffy is how you see him come on YouTube there. So
yeah, hopefully catch some.
Or catch some. That works as well.
The hope.
I have not been in the previous years. I don't go out and put a bunch of traps out. I just keep the traps right around my yard. So I can't say that, you know, there's guys that go out in the middle of the woods and drop them here and there, but I don't do that myself personally.
Yeah, I'm wanting to go out and put some traps out in different areas. Not too far out in the woods. I want it where whoever's on the property can see if there's bees going in it.
Right.
Yeah. Tree lines, man. That's what my mentor tells me. It's the best to put them on like tree lines near a water source, man. If you could find a tree line with a water source next to it, said that's best bet. Who knows? Yeah, Kai, I sub too, man. Y'all give Kai a sub, man. He's down there in Jamaica keeping bees.
Tomorrow night over on Lee's channel, we've got Ian Stepler, Brad from Faith Apiaries, and James. The 3 Canadian commercial beekeepers will be on there. And James.
Will you put swarm traps all over Austin? Yeah. See, that's what I want to do. I'm going to put swarm traps around my county too and make it like a game.
You know, I bet you Austin is just hippie enough to go for putting beehives on top of buildings in Austin. You know, I've seen them doing like in New York City and stuff like that, but Austin is one of those places where they'd probably be like, yeah, we'll let you do that, man.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, they were doing that in New York before it was legal.
Yeah, some people were doing it. Some they still do it, I think.
They were getting that red honey.
Red honey from
soda? Yeah, it tasted horrible.
Really?
It was coming from what is it called? The Moschino cherries. It was coming from that plant. The bees were licking it up, and they told the guy over it, and he fixed the problem. But that spiraled into its own amazing little side adventure where they found out he had something to do with drugs. They found like a hidden chamber and stuff in the factory. All that over bees collecting red dyed syrup up off the ground.
Well, you know, the funny thing is there's such a big debate about feeding your bees and adulterated honey and unadulterated honey. You know, the difference in my mind is someone like China does it intentionally, right? They take their harvested honey and then they cut it with rice syrup.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm a mile and a half from a high school, you can't tell me there's not soda cans full of pop
Half-empty
syrup
sodas.
all over the place, right?
Yep.
So there's nothing saying that bees aren't getting into everything everywhere, you know.
Yeah, they're going to drink whatever sugar they can find when they need it, when they
Mm-hmm.
want it. They're going to go for what they need.
So
Yeah.
really what we need is some Dr. Pepper honey. So just get them next to the Dr. Pepper plant down there. And
Ugh.
Yeah, it'd be kind of nasty.
I bet you'd sell.
I don't know. It might taste bad.
Then you sell that honey back to Dr. Pepper so they can market like Dr. Pepper honey sticks.
Yeah. Yeah, I use buckets. Yeah, 5-frame proper nukes. Get the old wood from wood construction sites. Make nukes. 5-frame nukes. Yep. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to see if my mentor will show me how to make a 5-frame nuke, and I'm going to try a nuke box this year for swarm trap.
Make it a
Might as
little
well.
bit, make it deeper.
I'm putting up swarm boxes.
Yeah.
I got a couple of supers, and my plan is to put the deep frames in the super, so they got that space at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, J&D's, where are you at? I'm sorry, Bob. Go ahead.
No, most of my swarms are when people just call me. They're in their bushes or trees or something like that, and I just go get them and shake them out, right?
Yeah.
So, see,
Yeah,
Texas says he'd buy Dr. Pepper honey.
I wonder if that would stay in the comb.
Let's do that experiment. Take one hive, and all we do is put it in a round feeder or a top hive feeder, just Dr. Pepper. But it's got to be flat, right? No carbonation, just flat to see what it does.
Yeah, I've actually heard of like big red honey. But yep. Okay, you're Wyoming. Okay. Hand loppers, Bob, always in your truck. Oh yeah, some bypass pruners, huh? Get you a nice pair of bypass pruners, man. Spend the $75-$80. Get you some nice Sharpies.
I got some, man. I got a free 4-inch chainsaw.
And the meeting I was just at yesterday with our beekeeping group out here, dude, this guy made his own bee vac. It's nice. He's gonna send me the schematics for it and everything, and it's all made with.
Dry Cut made the one. He basically duplicated Mr. Ed's bee vac.
Yeah. And what this guy's using is a handheld DeWalt vacuum. With it's all like PVC valves and everything. It's super legit. I was like, hey man,
that's true.
Make that.
They wouldn't hit much Dr. Pepper with the with regular nectar going on. But hey, in the summer, a few cans of Dr. Pepper out there.
I know you guys make me thirsty. I'm about to go grab one out of my fridge. I'm like, Dr. Pepper sounds good. And I got a nice cold one in my fridge right now.
We'll have to call it the I'm a Pepper Hive.
I know, right? Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? From what was it? Short Circuit. Remember where that robot got out? Old movie.
Oh yeah,
He goes up to the side and they're like, "Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too?" Good night, Jeff. Thanks for stopping in, man. Yep, that's what this guy's using is a 20-volt DeWalt vac, hand powered. GoPro strapped to head, flashlight, and teeth. Clues, I'll be happy to report you. You guys are too funny.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And they just didn't want.
Yeah, I have a net, but I'm not gonna do it. Man, if I'm gonna do a beer I'd like to have like a nuke or something to put them right in.
You know, I was thinking of something, and you guys might. I had an idea. I don't know why I had this idea, but it came down to like queen grafting, right?
Be right back.
So with queen grafting, you know, you make your starter box, right? Well, I've got one of those Man Lake observation hives, right? Where it's a 5-frame on the bottom, and then it's got the glass on the side where you just put the queen and queen excluder up top. But if you filled that bottom down, why couldn't you put your frame of queen cells in the top of the observation hive? And wouldn't the bees come up to them?
I don't know.
That'd be interesting to see. Might be a wasted graph session, but it would be interesting to see if they would come up and cover those up in the glass part of the observation hive.
Are you going to graph this year, Bob?
Yeah. Yeah. Matter of fact, I've got stuff coming from Amazon right now, grafting stuff.
If they didn't go up there and you still wanted it for show, I wonder if you could just go cut out some drone wax and rubber band it into the grafting frame to pull them up.
That's what my mentor does.
So, Kai said,
I know some people like Brian. He has that one he takes to the show, and it's just a single frame. But you go to a class, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I just saw someone that today was using they had a jester nuke that was just full of nurse bees and frames, right? Their starter. And they had 4 frames in there, so their 5th frame would be their graft, right? So I was like, well, if I filled that up, I could take that top portion that has the queen excluder in it and hang my cells up in the top where the glass is and see if they would come up and cover those cells. And Kai says they would once they were queenless. Yeah, so just making a starter and try to see if that would work. I mean, that would be pretty easy.
Silver Girl, that's funny.
Yeah, we had that happen as soon as we got bees. It wasn't even our bees. Because the bees beeline back to their home, and we're like, well, we're down the hill. They're going up the hill.
Hey, Larimore, his choice of soda is whiskey. Okay? He doesn't drink soda. His choice of soda is whiskey. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just saying that, but
yeah, that is true. You want to have them close to pollen and brood. That's true. So it may not work, but I just thought it'd be a neat thing to watch. You figure they might bring it up there, you know?
I need to get John on here so I can show you some of his grafting ideas that he's done. He's made some really cool stuff, man.
And I talked to the guys down there with the queen and queen cells, and they're going up on their price this year. So
yeah, everything's going up. Inflation.
Everything's going up. Terrible.
Brian from Colorado, what up? Entering the stream. Hey, Brian.
Hold on.
We got
there
you.
He is.
We got you. Loud and clear. Charlie.
What's going on, man?
Not much. How's it going?
Good. How you doing, that, man?
Good. That was interesting. I was saying that's good.
Are you getting a delay or something?
Yeah, I got a delay. Hold on.
He's got 2 screens open. He's got YouTube and StreamYard open. You got to mute one of them. Happens to be. I do it all the time.
All right, is that better?
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hope they didn't tell me. He didn't tell me what the new price of cells were going to be. Last year they were $5, but he did say the nukes were going up and the queens were going up a little bit. So he didn't say what the cells were going to be yet. So
yeah,
I imagine probably about the same thing. Probably around $5 a piece.
Maybe you could put a frame of pollen nectar with your graphs. Donnie Fletcher, what's up, man? Welcome to the chat, man. Never seen you in here. Welcome. If you trim your frames to get closer together, maybe you could put a frame of pollen nectar up with your graphs.
Well, you would hopefully trim that grafting frame like Charlie does.
Yeah, but what I was talking about though is just using that observation setup, right? Have all your bees down in the bottom, but put your graft in the top where you would normally put that one frame that people can look at.
Yeah.
And just let the bees come up and do their thing. But then it made sense when he said, well, you should have food and pollen on both sides of it. So,
you know, Bob, another thing you can do with those observation hives, I think they're called Ulster hives, right? you can use that as a timing box. You can put the queen in that top frame and let her lay in it and then pull that frame to graft out of. So you're isolating that frame so you can see her laying in it and then pull it out right at that right time to graft.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you could just really make a nuke with the queen and keep her up top, and then you could basically every couple days just pull out a frame, drop a new one in, do your grafting, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Ian, welcome. How you doing, man? Staying warm up there, polar bear?
He's
loving that Jamaica weather, I bet, right? Warming up, watching that guy doing beekeeping in Jamaica. That was really cool.
Yeah, that was cool, right? And it's look at the difference. We just had a guy all the way down in Jamaica, and then now Ian's here all the way from up north in Canada. Look at the two extreme differences that we just went through in a 10-minute period. Yeah. You know, Ian's up there fighting extreme cold, and our guy down in Jamaica is gearing up for hurricane, like coming down from hurricane season.
Ian, make sure you're watching your Facebook tomorrow so I can message you the link tomorrow night for the stream.
Chavez, bees, they do 1,000 times more work than we could ever dream of doing in a day. Think about it. That one little bee, think about that bee flying 3 to 5 miles just for food, coming back and forth. Who knows how many times a day? Could you do that?
Yeah.
Just to pollinate food. Just ultimate for the survival of the colony. That's why they do it.
On a solar farm. Yeah, that's challenging. I'm wondering.
Yeah.
You know, as far as the solar farm, you remember a few years ago when the solar arrays were like killing all of the bees or the birds when they were flying by them? Do you remember those stories?
Yep.
Because
they're cooking birds. They were so hot. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, but that was like in was it in Nevada? Was it out in Las Vegas, out in the desert, where they have those arrays where they point the arrays at one single receptor, and the the birds were flying through them and getting zapped right by that ray of light and getting melted down.
It's
I don't know.
Instantly cooking them, basically.
Yeah.
It was real bad, yeah.
But yeah, that'd be cool if you could get some get some bees out on a solar farm.
What state are you in, Bald Eagle? You're definitely going to want to talk to your county ag people. You're definitely going to see if you get grants, especially with a solar farm. For sure, you're definitely going to want to talk to your regulators in your county. So
Virginia.
wherever the farm is in Virginia, you're going to want to talk to those people in that county. Find out what kind of requirements, they're going to have the solar farm, what they're expecting out of your operation, because they're going to expect something out of you.
Yeah.
Make sure you're not getting the shit end of the stick, so to say, right? CYA, right? So make sure everything's in black and white. That way nobody's saying, hey, we didn't know. I think that it's going to be your ultimate. You want to have a plan going into this, find out what everybody wants out of it, and then put your plan into action.
I was fortunate when I was getting started. I've got a big Facebook friends group, right? Over 3,000 friends and followers, whatever. And I already had equipment, but I did a GoFundMe, and I raised like $2,500 on my GoFundMe for getting bees and getting started.
Yeah.
And that was, pretty cool. But most of the time people, I don't know. It's hard to raise funds a lot of times for stuff like this,
Yeah.
Ask Wizenhunt.
Yeah. See, and Bald Eagle, you could join the chat if you want to, man. We could talk this out right now and talk about it, because this is how we learn about these processes, because there might be somebody else in Virginia with the same thing coming up.
But you could definitely check with not FHA, but what's the farmers? They have a
Future Farmers of America.
It might be
FFA. FFA. There's 4-H, FFH, or FFA, 4-H, and
the USDA, Department of Agriculture.
Yeah.
You might be able to get some kind of grant there as well.
Yep. Definitely see about getting a write-off on your gear. No, you're going to want the company. What you want to do, you don't want to purchase any of that gear. You want the company to purchase their own gear. Don't pay it out of your pocket, right? Unless you want to, that's your prerogative, right? But if they're wanting bee boxes, I would definitely make them purchase the gear. You set it up for them, and you manage the gear for them, right? You manage the gear and the bees.
And
That
then
way,
they get a nice tax exemption.
yeah, because I'm guessing they're going after the tax exemption, right? They just need somebody to get the bees on the property and write it off.
I guess it depends, because they may say, "Oh, well, we don't want the bees. They're your bees."
Yeah,
They may do that to keep from costs.
Yeah,
right.
Clean hands, washing their hands of it. Yep, I could see that happening too. I'm with you, Bald Man. I'm all about it, man. Ag write-off. Yep, for sure. Multi-purpose planning. And you know what? Here's the thing, Bald, right? You can make money off of this. Yeah, required insurance. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Are they going to want insurance for your gear? But you can also make money off of this too if you play it right, So yeah, there's all kinds of different routes you can go with putting gear on somebody else's property, but CYA, man, don't take the shit end of the stick, dude. Don't. Because what if you get in there, you put in 2 years of work, and then they say, hey, you're gone. We're going to keep all your gear, and we found another beekeeper. Bye. Here in Texas, they have what's called eminent domain.
And then the other part of that is how long have you been keeping bees? Is it something that you could effectively manage if they say, well, we want 500 hives out here? If it's your first year, that I'm going to just call it a F for failure right out of the gate, because
BS, man. Yep.
You won't be able to keep up with it. I mean, just my opinion.
Yeah, DC brought up a good point. There's good and bad to involving the government in programs, right?
Mm-hmm.
It could be a double-edged sword. It's kind of a catch-22. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Take your pick. You want to pick that battle carefully.
Oh, well,
okay.
If you few hives, man, then yeah, start that and just expand till they tell you, yeah, we got too many bees out here. Then make another arrangement.
Yeah, do they? I'm wondering, what's the ag exemption requirement in your state for how many boxes you have to have on your property and how many acres? Here in Texas, it's 4. You have to have 4 acres or more, or it's 5 or more, less than 20. Okay. So 5 or more, less than 20. And then you have to have, by your 4th year, you have to have 4 colonies working on a 5th. So there's certain ag exemptions or certain requirements. You have to have a plan. They want to know how much live pollen you're putting out on your property per year. They actually want you to draw up a diagram and show what you're planting, where it's planted. Yeah. Hang on. I'll go get the paperwork. 1 second.
So while he's going off, I'll add a little bit to that. I know that Texas has really friendly ag exemption laws. I know that because people move from Texas to Colorado wanting to take advantage of those laws, and we don't have them here in Colorado.
We don't.
So
have
every state is different. I guess my question, does anyone know out there, is there some clearinghouse place of information of all the different states kind of laws and rules around this kind of stuff? Rich, while you were gone, I was just saying Colorado's rules are very different than Texas's rules. So I'm just wondering if there's a place where all this information is housed all together so you can go and see what all the different laws are from state to state, because they vary tremendously.
You could go, how I find it is you always want to check your sources. Like, you're definitely going to go to the government websites, and that's the laws in Texas change though. We could sell raw agricultural commodities straight to like HEB, or I could walk into a restaurant here without having to go through the USDA, that whole process, because as long as it's raw, unfiltered honey straight from the beekeeper's yard, it's considered a raw agricultural commodity. And Texas,
right? But I'm talking more about the ag exemption that this solar company would be getting, that those tax exemption laws. That's what I'm focusing on.
Definitely through the state. You're going to want to check through the state, because if the solar company is a well-known larger solar company, they're no doubt going to get a tax write-off regardless because of the solar farm, right? Now, throwing an ag exemption, it sounds to me like they're trying to double up an exemption. So
Right.
I would definitely check through the state for sure. That's where I found all my laws at with regards to how placing bee farms and things like that. That's like pretty much taken care of through your legislature.
Well, I mean, in our state, I can't sell directly to stores at all without having to get the health department to come inspect my processing facility and all of that stuff. But I can sell directly to people.
Yeah.
4,800 pounds. So
there's no limit on how much honey we can sell to the end user in Texas now. I can sell up to as much honey because in Texas, raw agricultural commodities, eggs, honey, certain other farm products, goat's milk, you can sell that directly in your community to the user. So that's the cutoff. I saw there's another video somebody was talking about.
Seems like a lot of rules.
You don't know the half of it.
There's really not, Dennis Barney, for the beekeeper in Texas. When you get into commercial is when the laws start changing. That's where the laws start getting tricky. But for this backyard beekeeper like myself, I don't have to go through all the red tape, man. I can walk in with 20 jars of honey, walk into my local grocery store, and sell it straight to the store without any kind of...
If they'll buy it like that.
Yeah, if they'll buy it. Oh, they'll buy it. I've already talked to a lot of stores around here. They're like, yes, when you going to have it here, basically.
I know with the stores here, they've got to basically send it to their corporate, right, and get an approval, SKU number, and all that. So it's a little bit of a process, but I guess it's not too bad.
Yeah, check with the state apiarist. Yeah, that's a good one. I check with Texas A&M if you're in Texas. Check there. But like Philip RTX was saying, man, the laws in Texas got real laxed a couple years ago, man. Because Texas is an agriculture state, y'all. We're a farm market state. A lot of laws were based around agricultural here in Texas. So that's why they're so lax on certain laws here. When you start pasteurizing your honey, that's where you can no longer, you have to now go through a different process to label it. For us, the backyard user, the backyard beekeeper, I can just slap a sticker on it, say, hey, it's clean. I processed it in a clean facility. I got to label it in accordance to the laws. Bam, done.
It's not bad.
Yeah. 10 years ago, Washington real heavy on honeybee friendly. Okay.
I know here in Colorado, maybe about 5 years ago, we had a beekeeper who was the president of our state association, really lobbied to create the Cottage Food Act, and that gave us a lot of honey-friendly laws. I wonder if in Texas and Washington, it was the same, where just like beekeepers really lobbied to get these laws changed, because that's, I think, the only reason it's gonna happen. So, yes, I wonder if you know, or DC, do you know?
It is. It's the cottage
impetus.
It's the
cottage. Who made that happen, Rich? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, it was the beekeepers. The beekeepers pushed for it. They're like, no, you guys got to give us this. Like, we're producing an agricultural commodity that people want.
And that's my point. If there are folks out there in states that don't have as friendly laws, it's kind of up to the beekeepers to advocate for themselves and make those things happen. Get involved with your state associations. It's through associations that you're going to have leverage with those kind of laws, not just Joe beekeeper anywhere. So that's my recommendation.
If you're having issues with beekeeping laws, you know what? Start blowing up your local councilman's phone every day. You got an issue with the beekeeping law? That's how you start pushing for legislation, right?
If you go through your association, you can have multiple people do it.
Yeah, you have maybe 20 people making the same phone call a day to the same representative. Hey, we want you to ease up on our bee laws. Minnesota Mike in the house.
How the hell does this camera work?
Mike.
I really don't know.
There you go. There you are, Mike. It's cold.
No, it's not. We're very, very warm here. I think we are at 18 degrees Fahrenheit.
I knew what we can sell here. Yeah, I have Yeah, I have the information on my iPad, man, because I screenshotted it. There's a. Hang on, let me see here. I'll tell you what channel it was because they put out all the information on their channel. Give me a second. Let's see here. The channel was. Okay, I got it all right here. Options for selling honey in Texas. Here we go. July 16th, 2020, Texas Department of State Health Services posted an update. Okay, there's still no rules. Must be pure raw honey from your beehives. Activities that are permitted for selling honey straight from the beekeeper to the end user here in Texas. Harvesting, uncapping. These are the activities that are permitted that allows us to sell. Drying honey, blend it, labeling, packaging, packing or holding, and harvesting. Honey requirements. Other activities that are permitted per correspondence with this requirement for Texas are refrigerating, freezing, and warming to reliquefy. But we can't heat it to over 120 degrees. We can also whip it, cream it, spun it, churn it. We can do all those things. But it has to be a 10-to-1 ratio mix.
Let's see, we can't cream our honey here. I think that's the only restriction. That if you do, then I think you need a commercial kitchen license or whatever.
Okay, I apologize. Let me take that back. Not permitted. We can't whip it here. I'm sorry. So yeah, we can't whip, cream, set, spun, or churn.
You can't whip it good?
You can't whip it and whip it good. What we got here? Let's take a peek here, Bobby.
All right, so this is the South Carolina one. Let me see if I can blow that up a little bit.
Let me get Texas bee laws here too. Got you guys.
So all of this allowed if this is for sale to store and stuff like that, right? Out of a home kitchen. Infused honey, all ingredients must be whatever GRAS and commercially dried. Allowed if extracting, preparing, processing, storing, and distributing out of a home kitchen. This is the, that cottage law.
Yeah.
So if you're selling it in the store.
I found it. Here we go. I got it. Okay. So I'm going to pull up the video here. And I'll get to the laws here. That way everybody can kind of have a look at Texas since we're talking about it right now. Because honestly, Texas, I'm watching this, it seems like Texas has some of the most lax laws, honestly. Let's see here.
I mean, you are the biggest beef provider in the United States, right?
Yep.
So.
Okay, let's take a peek here. This is Houston Beekeeping Association. And this is what they put for the ag laws here in Texas that changed in 2020. And it was really a lot of laws.
Honey for mine. You have to understand that the farm rules are for all kinds of farmers, whether you're growing wheat or soybeans or whatever. And sometimes those do blend other. So because it's permitted for them, it's permitted for us as beekeepers as well. So other activities that are permitted, and those other ones you saw were straight from the website. These are ones that I've talked with the state about, like, what about this? Can we do this? Can we do this? You can refrigerate your honey. You can freeze honey, warm it to reliquefy. But what things that you cannot do?
These are all Texas state laws.
These are considered manufacturing operations. You cannot use heat to pasteurize. You cannot whip in air to make whipped honey. So just as an aside here, whipped honey, creamed honey, set honey, spun honey, churned honey, they're all the same thing. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Yummy, put it on a spoon. It's okay. So you can, and this is how it's typically made, is that you start with your seed, which is already crystallized. So you can.
So we can infuse. Not permitted. Okay, we can't infuse. Nope. So we can't add spice, because when you start adding spice and like jalapenos, then you run the risk of botulism and food poisoning. So when you get into making like jalapeno honey, you can't do it. It has to be made a special way.
Add or infuse anything to the honey. So if you're adding cinnamon to the honey, you can't sell under these rules.
Can't do it.
I know someone that was adding extra pollen to their honey.
Can't do that either.
That would technically be not allowed either. Cannot do these things. Go ahead.
That sounds about right.
Where can you do this?
Hang on, I think I got Brian's head cut off here, Brian.
No worries.
No,
They
well,
probably
everybody's-
just don't want to fight the FDA over that.
Yeah, and it really was. It was all the beekeepers that got in on this and
Farm operation
made the changes.
Well, everything, of course, is all in the technical terms that the government likes to use. At your primary production farm, which is going to be any location or building on the property where you have your apiary, or at the secondary activities farm, which is going to be an operation not where your apiary is, but still it's yours. It doesn't have to be your property. It just
I can bottle honey in my home, basically, like other people do. So I don't have to go I know food sanitary processes, so of course I'm going to keep it clean. But yeah, we can process everything right in our home, and we don't.
Wait a second. I mean, honey is incredibly antimicrobial.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were to like mix some contaminated chilies in your honey,
exactly,
who do you think would win? You know, the honey would kill it off. I think.
Yeah, I'd be willing to put it to the test, man. I'd be willing to put it to the test because he's right. Honey is super antimicrobial.
And technically, according to this, you can't sell honey that has crystallized in the jar.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you can't.
So that's I don't know. It's
no, you can sell the crystallized honey. You can't make crystallized honey. Like you can't make your own ratio. Remember I was saying you got to put a 10 to 1 to make crystallized honey.
Yeah. I don't
How
know.
do they know?
Arguing about it one way or another, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I get you, Mike. Yeah, for sure.
You know, I think that the danger of botulism when putting fresh plant matter into honey is there, whether it's fresh peppers or fresh lavender leaves or whatever. But once those things are dried, like dried cinnamon or dried cacao or anything like that, if I was a Texas beekeeper, that's the envelope I'd kind of push. These are dried. There's no addition of moisture. There's no danger of botulism. I'm not adding fresh plant matter into it.
Yeah.
So that's the argument
I get you, like
in Texas.
Yeah, if it's like say dehydrated peaches or something you're going to add to your honey or something that's already been cured. Definitely
right, especially like powders, like spices, like
yeah.
cinnamon. Come on.
Yeah, that's kind of. But okay, you can add it, but you just can't sell it, right? Like say I wanted to add cinnamon and give it as like a gift, I can do that, but I just can't sell it to.
Yeah, you
like
can make all the creamed honey you want. You just can't sell it.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, but people want that creamed honey too. People love creamed honey. So.
But still.
What's up, Bob?
No, I've got to run.
Okay, be good, Bob. Man.
All right, guys.
I'll
talk to y'all later.
I'm gonna check in on you tomorrow, man.
All right, brother.
Yeah, super excited.
Yeah, I'm gonna check in on you tomorrow, dude.
Your property, it just has to be your operation. Well, what it means basically is you don't have to do everything at your apiary. You can do this at your home, but not just anywhere. So you probably couldn't rent the church's kitchen and do it there. That would not be exactly under the rules. Okay. So you don't need a honey house. You don't need a facility inspected by the Texas Department of State Health Services. You don't need a license. You don't have to register with the state.
So those are all the requirements, honey producer, what we don't need to do.
So in Colorado, you do have to take a food handlers class. It's usually like a 2-3 hour class. It's actually really helpful.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I urge everybody, if you're going to be handling food, you should take this class because it's going to teach you basic sanitation methods. It really is. There's nothing wrong with taking this class. I took it because I'm a food handler.
Yep.
And it really does. It's knowledge, and it's going to teach you how to keep your process sanitary, because you are selling a food product that you're going to put on somebody's table and they're going to consume. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. It's not just about putting this in the jar and giving it out. This is something somebody's going to consume. Keep that in mind.
I've heard that in the home kitchen, the biggest infraction is hair. Getting a hair or a pet hair, because we have pets everywhere, into your product. That's the most common issue. Yeah, Mike doesn't have that problem. But you got cats, Mike, so I know how that works.
Yeah, I have 2 dogs. Yeah. See, and I went and looked at a Legion Hall today because they have a kitchen, and when I start doing honey, I want to sling it in their kitchen because it's a clean spot. There's no dogs. It's free of hair. I can go in there, sanitize it, make a nice clean area, and do all my processing right there, and have an area to clean everything up when I'm done.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm all about it.
Well,
I definitely.
You really got me thinking here because our peninsula has a clubhouse with a full commercial licensed kitchen in it, and we actually do rent the thing out to people, local people, to make jellies and whatnot. Now down in Texas, they want you to do it in your house, but you can't do it in like a local commercial kitchen. That's interesting.
I could go out and do it in a kitchen if I wanted to.
Well, I thought it had to be done in your home, or maybe I wasn't reading it right.
No, you can also do it off-site. Yep.
Oh,
the previous slide was
a major stake in it.
Yeah. Primary production. Okay. A location for harvesting, holding, packaging, and labeling. At the secondary activities farm, operation not located on a primary production farm devoted to any of the approved operations. You must own or jointly own a majority interest in the secondary activities farm operation. Extract, bottle, store honey away from your apiary, but not just anywhere. So, because I mean, technically the American Legion, I technically do jointly own because I'm a veteran. So yeah, I could technically go bottle it there.
That's why that lady did the church example.
Yeah. I mean, if I could play it all different kinds of ways, it's just how the state wants to be. If the state wants to come in and be jerks about it and be like,
I wonder if it could be your primary if you have hives there.
What do you mean?
I wonder if you could try to cheat the system. Oh no, this isn't my secondary. Look at that one hive out there. This is my primary.
Yeah, I could place hives all over.
So requirements for sales, just like before, you're still limited to the state of Texas.
Can't sell outside of Texas.
Before there was a dollar limit. There's no dollar limit. You do not have to do the
That's all BS, so I'm pretty sure they're not going to regulate me.
Direct to the consumer. You do not have to be in person. Anyone associated with the farm can sell. Before, it was only yourself and your immediate family members that were allowed to sell under the previous rules. As long as they're associated with your farm, that could be your family, it could be an employee, whoever you want. So back to the rules with the state pay.
Okay, for anybody who's wondering, there's your website. So it's dshs.state. There it is. And this is when it looks like the honey laws changed. While beekeepers harvesting raw honey will not require to license DSHS as long as they are only engaged in allowable farm activities, harvesting operations that conduct filtering, packaging, and labeling of honey are still subject to the adulteration and misbranding provisions of the Texas Health Safety Code 431. Okay. Yeah.
So it says, are there any laws that apply to the beekeeper raw honey producer? And
that's the big. They're really big on here is the adulteration. They're huge on that here. They find out you're mislabeling and you're adulterating your honey, you're in big trouble here. You're going to get in a lot of trouble by this law right here.
It's curious. I believe in Minnesota you can make the infused honey, peppers. Like my ghost pepper honey that I sell so much of, but you have to mark it as infused, but you don't have to do it in a commercial setting. And so I don't know, whatever is going on, however you guys are doing it, I think you brought up a really good point. Check out with your local county and state. Just kind of go from there. And by the way, you're talking about having telling people as a primary residence, have Spanky print out a whole bunch of little hives and stick them out in the driveway. I would do that actually.
Yes.
Oh man. We've got one guy here that I think he has to technically have 20 hives on his property to apply for a land tax exemption.
Really?
And what he was literally told by the officials was that you don't really need to have 20 out there because nobody wants to go out and check beehives. So
yeah, right here, the requirements here for the county here where I'm at, Degree of intensity is 3 hives with 8 or 10 frames per hive. Hives must be located on the property for the bulk of the year, be maintained and actively managed. A 3 to 5 year plan of action is required to be submitted with the application. This plan must state type of production will occur on the property, secondary use of bees, plan of expansion, map showing the hives and current vegetation, a yearly plan covering the 5 years for planting, enhancing vegetation specific to bee longevity. Bees must have blooming plants that are beneficial to them, a contingency plan in case of a catastrophic disaster of hives. And this is what the county appraisal districts want. Register with the Texas Apiary Inspection. They need to be kept in locations that have food and water provided to them. Annual updates are required to be filed by July 25th of each year. It's okay. Certified. So, okay, that's required number of hives should be cleaned and maintained each year. A prudent manager will provide adequate shade. Supplemental beekeeping questionnaire. They got typical equipment. Annual update. You have to have the annual update, which is absolutely required. Items to include on the annual report: name, phone number, property ID, land map, main use of the bees, amount of honey produced, byproducts produced, summary expense report for the operation, inspection logs, feeding logs, bees purchased during the year, predator prevention such as Africanized bees or fire ants. Because in Texas, we have fire ants, and they're extremely invasive, and they will stress out your bees. So,
wow,
yeah, this is all the stuff they want here.
And those sound painful too.
What's that?
The fire ants.
Yeah, they're a pain in the butt, man.
Yeah, I've only been bitten by a fire ant once and left an impression with me, and I just ran away. But you've got them there. I'm sorry, just childhood flashback there.
No, they're horrible, man.
Yeah. Say, by the way, the picture that you put up there of your reservoir.
Yep.
Yeah.
Medina Lake, 6%.
That looks pretty doggone brutal there.
It's 6%, Mike. We're expecting rain this week, but an inch or two. Texas, and I've done my homework on Texas. We're due for a flood. It's just time. It's just time.
Yeah.
And that lake will fill up again. I don't know how long it's going to be before we get that flood, but the last time Texas was flooded really bad was back in 2010, I believe. And it was a bad flood. It flooded a lot.
Yeah, okay. Kind of remember that. That got a little crazy, if I remember right.
It was really bad. I had moved here just yet. I think I moved to Texas in like 2012 or 2013, something like that. And I remembered I just missed it. Everybody's like, yeah, you just missed a huge flood. So Texas is due for a flood. And I was just listening to the weather today, and my the weather lady here, Sarah, says we are expecting rain and that we are due for a wetter pattern this year. But ultimately what Texas needs is a flood, because like I said, once I get out to some of the watersheds out here, I'm going to shoot some videos and show you guys, good night, Silver Gorilla, how low the watersheds are. Cause it's absolutely, it's scary. It's scary to see the watersheds low. And like you said, Mike.
No, I do remember, I think it was in the mid or late 90s, guys on jet skis actually running around in downtown Houston.
Yeah.
So when it comes, it does come, and be out there.
And that's how it was in San Antonio too. It was like that in San Antonio. I mean, you're talking lower levels of downtown freeways flooded. Like when you get flooded here, you either get flooded in or you get flooded out. If it floods here, I'll get flooded in. I won't be able to get out because we have about 3 or 4 low water crossings just to get out of where I live. And they're all way bone dry. If it rains, we get a good rain here over a few days, it'll flood.
How long would that flooding last for you? I'm just thinking about stocking up supplies just for a flood, and I'm not being facetious.
No, they would let us know ahead of time, like, hey, it's going to flood, and I would no doubt probably stock up for a couple weeks.
Yeah, not to mention that electricity and so on, but say we're gonna start getting cold here. Back to what would be a normal load by, I believe, Saturday, which will mean the single digits for the high and below zero for the lows. Are any of you getting that cold drop that coming up? Yeah. See, I was going to look at what Ian's weather was up there. but honestly, talking to you on this damn phone instead of a computer, I can't bring that up. But I'm thinking that boy is going to hit Fahrenheit.
Let's see here.
We're supposed to be 15 below, I think, on Tuesday or Wednesday for the lows. So I'm guessing it's gonna
What
be
province
somewhere-
is Ian in?
Look up Miami, Canada.
Alberta.
He's in Alberta.
It's
Okay.
Manitoba, I think.
Manitoba. Okay.
Oh, we're terrible at Canadian geography.
Yeah, but that's Manitoba is a
Manitoba.
big place. You know, it's like saying I live in Texas. Well, where in Texas do you live?
Yeah,
You know what I
right.
mean?
All right, he's
So
he's
that's
14
why-
degrees tonight. Manitoba's 14 degrees tonight.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, we're nice and warm there.
Yeah.
Frank just put up a video of a dishwasher. That guy's going nuts. Galloway, Manitoba. Yeah, thank you. I knew that, Ian. I just,
Okay.
but I specific do a search on Miami, so I try to get the local as the immediate weather stations on Weather Underground. Good night, Dennis. And I'm sorry for everybody in the chat. I can't see your chats on this damn thing, so
No, you're good.
yeah. Stuffy, Manitoba. Yeah.
Yeah, Galloway,
Like,
Texas is pretty flat. Where I live, it's real hilly like, but yeah. Good part of
Yeah.
it's flat, man.
Getting cold on Saturdays, minus 30s. Is that centigrade, Ian, or
Centigrade. It's be centigrade.
Yeah, of course
Yeah,
it's centigrade.
Yeah. So that's what, like 10 Fahrenheit, negative 10?
I have no idea how the
Negative 10.
translation works at that. Once
Yeah.
it gets below zero, then I'm hosed.
I know. When it's like hit zero, it's like, okay, it's cold.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
0 degrees, it's cold.
One of Ian's last videos when he was getting back from Manitoba, he's walking in the snow, and a good northerner can recognize the temperature just from the crunch of the snow in the background. It's really interesting. Like, okay, yeah, you're cold.
Southern got 10 inches of snow. North got a half inch of snow, 25 degrees.
Yeah. Okay. Southern Michigan, 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Southern got the 10 inches and Northern got the half inch. Brian,
Yeah.
how'd you do through the snow, man? Did you guys get hit?
Yeah, we got some snow. We got
Okay.
about, I don't know, like 8 inches.
Man.
Yeah, so it's going to stick around for a week or two.
So 25. Okay, so 25 Fahrenheit. Okay. That's cold.
Okay. Yeah, wowzers. Ian, are you expecting winds? Because that's the other dance.
Wind chill, huh?
Well, yeah, but also the drifting and so on.
Yeah.
You know, if you guys have never seen him using that big snowblower in the back of the tractor, the PTO thing.
Yep.
That's damn crazy.
Ian, I give it up to you, man, because out of all the beekeepers in the world, man, you got to be the hardest working one, man. I swear. Like, for what you do for your bees, you have such a short winter, you know, and I've watched your trial and errors over the last couple of years, man, and you've gone through some really serious stuff in your yard, man. I watch when your bees got flooded out. I mean, dude, give you props, man.
Yeah,
you're beekeeping in some of the most harshest condition this world has to offer us. and you're succeeding at it.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, you're succeeding at it, man. I give it
By
up
the
to you.
way, if I'm not mistaken, Ian's going to be with Bob and Lee on Tuesday.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Okay, so Bob actually found these things that look like shallow shoe boxes, and they're Tupperware basically. And he bought them from a local beekeeping supplier, and basically they're feeders that are designed to fit on top of a hive. And the doggone bee supply place had no idea where they got them from. The curious thing to me is they're almost at the right height that Ian might actually be able to slide those things in over his hives underneath his other pallets. And if not, it would be that hard to have a plastic manufacturer just to make those doggone things.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking about, I felt so bad for you last spring when some of your hives were starving in the barn. And I saw that thing and I said, Bob, find that thing. Cold keeps the snakes away, but there are no snakes on them.
Yeah, we got rattlesnakes down here. Yeah, you're lucky about that, man. Yep.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we got rattlesnakes, coral snakes, a copperheads, cottonmouths.
All that good stuff. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you know something? I've never, at least I can't remember if he has black bear up there or not.
You got bears up there, huh, Ian?
Well, he's got to, but I mean, do you guys have the bears running around there?
You know, he doesn't have any of his boxes in a bee yard, though.
Yeah,
like
I don't
in a bear
remember
yard.
seeing electric fences in any of his videos.
I know
Well,
some
how about
people
you
in
guys?
Michigan. I don't.
No, I'm on the edge. If I went 5 miles west, yes, but I don't.
Real. That much of a difference. 5 miles, huh?
Because I'm really close to the foothills. You start changing elevation really quick. You start getting into the forest, and there's bears.
Okay.
Yep.
They like that difference between the elevation and the hills, huh? They like the forest. They like the difference. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so not bad in the prairie. Okay. Okay, so you do have them.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I would think that the bears would shy away from the prairie, but yeah, okay, I get it.
Okay, so Michael, you got them too. You got bears. Okay.
Yeah, we do. Let's see, over at the wood mill, where my friend's mill is, it's only 1.5 miles to the east of me, but that's right on the border of Carlos Gateway Wildlife Center. And a guy set up a couple game cams over there, and he ran into 12 bucks hanging around together, which struck me as very, very odd. 3 black bear, and a cougar. Wow. So we've got the whole gamut here. Now, we haven't had black bear. We used to have that black bear that would come and run to the edge of the lake, but it never seemed to go in.
Mm-hmm.
So we're fine there. Actually, our biggest thing here are coyotes.
Okay.
But they don't affect the bees.
Yeah.
But man, I had coyotes running all over the place this spring. We're getting low vision scopes and whatnot, getting ready to snipe those things this spring.
Yeah. Well, here they do pigs. Here they do pigs.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, they're big pigs.
Oh man,
350, 400-pound pigs, man. Size of a small Volkswagen.
Completely unrelated bee thing. Do you guys hunt and then eat those doggone pigs?
Nah, they're so invasive, Mike. They are so bad for the agriculture down here. It was such a problem that they were actually giving rewards, $5 a tail.
Okay, so once the pigs are shot, what do they do with them?
I think they just leave them out as fertilizer. Let them decompose.
Yeah, I actually had a friend of mine that went down there, and I forget where in Texas it was, but he was actually flying around in a helicopter, shooting down on these things with machine guns.
That's what they do because it's so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, watch some of the videos. You can look them up, and these guys are going out there with night scopes and stuff and shooting pigs because they're just so bad. And they're going out there with high-powered rifles, man, and just laying waste. Because the Spanish brought them over in the late 1700s during the East India trading companies when all the Spanish exploring was going on down here and all the, how do you say it, tyranny. That's when they were brought over into Texas. Spanish left them here, and now they're just.
Oh, no kidding. See, I thought it was earlier than that. And okay, that's very interesting.
About 1700s, yeah. When the Spanish were here.
Philip, are you saying you eat the small ones? I'm surprised they don't do something with the meat. Either people eat them or feed them to something else that's going to eat them. Seems like a waste.
A lot of people eat them.
A lot of people eat them.
A lot of people eat them, yeah, but the bigger they get, the tougher they are.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, the young ones. Yeah, the young ones, man. You have little carnitas out of those, man. You roast that baby over a fire, stuff that bad boy.
Spit roast pig over a wood fire. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
That's a happiness. Hey, Spanky, what's that background you got there? Is that honeybees on the edge of something?
No, it ain't honeybees. That's invasive sculpture resin bees or giant resin bees.
No kidding.
I caught them at a pot last year. I don't know what they were doing, but they were congregating. Those things are a lot bigger than they look.
Yeah, Phil beats them. I've had wild pig, man. It's good.
They're bigger than a honeybee.
Okay.
They got that bee shape. A bumblebee's fat looking.
Yeah.
These things are fat looking.
Okay.
Yeah, from what I can tell here, just to let you know what I'm looking at or think I'm looking at, it almost looks like drones to a point, so.
Yeah.
I mean, these things are bigger than drones. These things are like an inch long.
Are they really? Now, I'm sorry.
Giant is in the name.
How do they interact with the honeybees?
They're more, well, they're bees. So, I mean, obviously, anything that's invasive here that's native to them, they're going to prioritize it and they're going to help it grow and spread.
Yeah, I was just wondering if they attack the honeybees. That's where that's coming from.
The main, I don't know if they attack them directly. They mainly harm the native carpenters.
Really?
They steal their tunnels.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
Yeah,
it's
they can't chew their own tunnels, but they'll steal the carpenter bee tunnels, and they don't know if it's the resin that they collect or if it's something they add to it that makes it toxic, but it'll kill the carpenter bees.
But they're
'Cause the
raiding the.
carpenter
Yeah.
bees
Okay.
try to reclaim their tunnels. And
Very
after I
interesting.
started seeing those resin bees, the carpenter bees disappeared.
Okay.
Because I had carpenter bees around my beehives.
There's honeybee mites for something. I was wondering if we could harvest honeybee mites for something. I know for a fact that they've done that down in Hawaii. Because I saw an experiment down there, Frank, where they were getting those mites and then literally dumping them into certain hives to see how they cleared them out. But oddly enough, so this is something I was going to throw at you guys. We're making the oak bottom boards, okay, and white oak bottom boards. They'll outlive our grandchildren. Okay, that's great.
Right.
Never rot. We're fine. But do mites, once they're knocked off a bee and they go down, if they don't fall through the screening, do they try and climb up the walls from the bottom board? Does anybody know?
I've never seen them. My mentor said he's seen them, and he says they move quick as shit, man. He said they're very fast.
Well, I've seen some film clips of them that chewing through wax comb. People don't realize that they can actually tunnel from one cell to another.
Pretty quick, I'm guessing, too, huh?
Boy, it's been so long ago since I saw that I don't remember. But here's what I'm leading up to is that I was thinking about taking that one, that short edge all the way around the dog on the bottom and painting it with that Rust-Oleum Everwet, because hive beetles can't climb up that. Now, can broom mice climb up Everwet? That's what I'm really curious about, to find out how the heck that would work. Because it wouldn't take us. Yeah, it wouldn't take us that doggone long. I mean, if you're gonna have a screen bottom board for, like drop your mites down, you might as well, if there's a way to keep the mites from climbing up the walls, someone's got to have an answer on that. I might have to throw that one at Fred. So just one of those side notes there, gentlemen.
But that's what's cool. We can all sit here and talk about it and learn from it. Maybe we'll
figure
something out together.
Yeah. And Philip, we make a lot of sausage here from venison and whatnot. So if you got pigs down there.
I love venison sausage.
Yeah. And we mix it with fresh pork and come on.
Because venison's so lean. My mom makes it too. And she said that's the best thing to mix it with is pork. Because you get a good fat content with venison. Because it is venison's real lean, man. She's like, nope, mix it with pork sausage or pork fat. She's like, you get the pork fat for free. You just go to the butcher, like, tell him to give you some pork fat for free, man. You grind it up with your venison. Oh my god!
It's happy. It's really happy. We get an assembly line going, and it's just it's hilarious. But okay. So that's that. Is that bee? I can't quite read it.
Yeah.
Can you blow your screen up, Spanky?
The giant resin bee.
No.
What now?
Can you blow your screen up a little bit, brother?
Like that?
There we go.
Yeah, one more. Go one more, brother. Would you?
From
there we go.
Jamaica.
There we go.
Thank you so very, very much.
Thank you.
Unable to feature bee visitors. Blah 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 blah.
The 1990s.
Yeah.
Are they bee killed? Do they wipe out beehives? They're wiping out
It
colonies.
says they prefer plants that have been introduced. Some have observed that when collecting pollen or nectar, it will damage the local flora, making them unusable to future bee visitors.
So they're kind of brutal on the flowers. Very interesting.
Evidence has shown that it does pollinate a native and federally threatened plant.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Donnie. Yeah, I've run that. What I'm looking for now is the doggone things walking up the sidewalls of the hive. So if any of you guys do that, and oh yeah, Philip, good wild pork is very lean. I'd be all over
Yep.
that. Holy
Yep.
smokes! So I might have something here.
That's
It
where
was
they're at.
first intercepted in the U.S. and North Carolina in 1994 at commercial ports.
Man alive.
Look at that vertical line, how it stops along the west, right? Up Texas, up
yeah.
through Kansas. That's interesting. And then it crosses over east.
Stops the Continental Divide almost, just before the Continental Divide, huh?
It's way before
Yeah,
that.
way before. And then it looks like it hits a little bit on the west coast too.
Because do you see in Colorado that light brown square in the top right corner?
Mm-hmm.
That's all Kansas still. That's all the plains, right? Once you get to the edge of that square,
Yeah,
that's close to the front range of the Rocky Mountains. So it's still quite a distance. We're talking 200-300 miles from the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
I wonder what creates that line there.
That's
what's
a bit
changing in the environment? Is it elevation? Because I know the plains gradually go up. Is it temperature? Does it get colder? I wonder what's creating that.
Isn't that kind of where the dry line is too?
Yeah, it can't be temperature because it goes straight down through Texas.
Based on its native range and preference for humid, subtropical, and temperate climates.
Yeah, so I think you hit it, Rich, that dryness.
But it says this shows a predicted distribution.
Okay.
So that doesn't necessarily mean you have them yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen them here. That's a new beat to me, so that was cool.
Let me see. Scroll down, Spanky. Okay.
Very interesting. I'll keep my eye open for those things. Okay, so here's a wild card in the whole thing. How do mites affect these things?
Don't know. Female ranges in size from 22 to 27, is typically much larger than the males.
Do these get mites, Spanky?
I have no idea if they do.
Giant resin bee.
Because we have brown bees here in Texas too that are also pollinators that are real small. I'm wondering if those get mites.
I know the bumblebees can get diseases.
Do bumblebees get mites though too, like honeybees?
I can't remember if they do or not. But now they're getting the deformed wing virus.
Are honeybees the only one that are getting varroa mites?
I don't know. It says they can be distinguished from other natives by its size.
Yeah.
Such as leaf cutters are smaller, ranging from 5 to 24.
Okay.
Very, very curious.
That's what I'm saying. These pictures don't do these things justice whenever you actually see one.
Are they pollinating, Spanky, or are they devastating the pollen flow, the pollen source?
I don't know if they're hurting it. I know they're hurting the carpenter bees.
Okay.
They're literally taking their homes.
Oh,
So,
okay.
If I was reading that right, it sounds like they damage the flower when they're, and that might have to do with the way they feed on it.
Yeah, carpenter bees can do that too. They're known to cheat, especially on a tubular flower. They'll cut it.
Oh, will they really?
That's why I was wondering if the honeybees I had recorded had learned that behavior versus knowing to cut the flowers.
Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get a good screen fix here for you guys.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's a male with the golden hairs above the mandible.
Yeah, that's a very
big old eyeballs.
pattern.
Photographed by Thomas Palmer, Massachusetts.
And when did when did these become an issue, Spanky?
In the 1990s.
Okay, 96, I think is what it was we're looking at.
6
Well,
or
they were
4.
introduced. I think they said they were introduced in 1990.
Okay.
But
43 species. They have been observed on the forage on 43 species.
bees, cavities, in order to nest. Okay, man.
Yeah, they'll form pseudo colonies because they're taking over the carpenter bees, and they've been known to do pseudo colonies where the daughters will basically either use the same tunnel and split off, or they'll do multiple tunnels in the same area.
Okay.
And I would consider it a pseudo colony.
That's what it's saying right there at the next paragraph. Says they're known to displace native carpenter bees Xylocopa from their cavities in order to nest in them. During the summer months, female Megachile sculptora, what is that? I can't read it. Sculptoralis begin constructing brood cells of wood particles and mud, very similar to those of the native carpenter bee. Well, these exist carpenter bees lay their eggs because the mountables cannot chew through the wood to create the cavities of their own. Damn, house thieves. House thieves.
Pretty much. Very curious.
Okay, so bumblebees and carpenter bees can have mites. Okay.
You know, you'd almost, you'd really think so. Once you stuff, I mean, it makes perfect sense. So
why are they exempt? You know?
Yeah. That devil using a bee hotel.
Okay.
My mentor is telling me that bumblebees or carpenter bees, they produce a very small amount of honey. It's not a lot. And he said, if you ever get carpenter bee honey or bumblebee honey, he's like, I'll fight you for it.
They're not meant to overwinter, so they have a different biological need, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Although its large appearance makes it intimidating, they are largely harmless. The males cannot sting, and the females, although able, are not aggressive and usually fly away.
Okay.
So they've been considered benign despite the fact that they are killing off native bees.
Okay, so it's just basically a home invasion taking over, kind of like basically like a cowbird. So that's really interesting.
Pollinate up to 43 different species of plant in the U.S.
Okay, so they do pollinate.
Very
they leave
curious.
puncture marks on the petals of two types of flowers, the everlasting pea and the Japanese
pagoda flower.
Pagoda. Yeah.
Helpful visual marker for researchers.
So scroll down to management there, would you, Spanky?
Because they may negatively affect carpenter bees.
Structural damage does not have to be controlled aggressive chemical. I think it can be done primarily by painting wood in order to. Oh, okay, that's interesting. They fight like hell, run away. What? Okay.
Yeah, but I think he was talking about. He said something. They fight like hell, run away. They fight like hell, run away. My butt, get somebody hurt. I have dried ones.
Yeah. Okay. Man, but they've got such really distinct marks to them. The size alone would give them away, right?
Yeah, they look mean, like a wasp or a hornet.
Yeah. Yeah, they look like they definitely have a little bit of an attitude there.
Yeah.
As far as size is concerned. So, very curious. Well, you learn more here by accident than other places by design.
Well, it just shows how delicate the environment is when you start putting invasive species on in.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
What if this species has the potential to wipe out the bee population? We don't know that. It hasn't yet, but.
Well,
yeah.
I like the carpenter bees. I know people don't like them, but I like them around my bee box.
Oh, they're a hoot. Yeah. No.
Well, they're helpful.
We're going to start building bumblebee boxes and carpenter bee boxes here, Spanky.
Well, you know how bumblebees will raid honeybee colonies?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't have that happening while I had carpenter bees, and one year I observed maybe why that is. So the carpenter bees, the males are aggressive, but they have no stinger. They're aggressive towards everything. They get in its face. And for you, that's no problem. You're this, this big being. Your dog or your cat's a big being. But I watched one bully honeybee. Not a honeybee, a bumblebee. They try to bully the honeybees, and 5 honeybees fly out the entrance and they run away.
Oh yeah, no. Every bumblebee I've ever seen on a bee entrance here has had like a very losing situation.
I was about to say, they'll stand a chance, do they?
Yeah, and by the way, for anybody that really loves bumblebees, one of the things we found over the years is that if you get these garlic chives, not the regular purple chives, the garlic chives are pretty much inedible, okay? But they're beautiful ornamental flowers. But the bumblebees just love the garlic chives, and those things flower for, I think, about 6 weeks. So we actually have a row of those things right next to the beehives off our back deck here at the cabin. And it's fun, especially when little kids come over and I tell them, hey, did you know that you can pet a bumblebee? And they're like, what? Yeah, so they just love those things. So in case anybody wants to do that.
They're really cool, though, watching bumblebees. They're big old fat bee.
Oh, they're fun.
Until they come after you.
So I've got a neighbor over here that has a hydrangea tree. And in the spring when that thing flowers,
all over the
place, had never, it's beautiful, but I'd never seen that many queen bumblebees gathering at one point in my life. And they're so easy to tell the difference because they're so big. Spanky's nodding his head. Yeah. But there were, they were obviously like gearing up for, like new colonies. They do. But
has anyone had the opportunity to rehome a bumblebee colony?
I would love to try. My old man tried to, and it didn't work out, man. He had a hard time.
Okay. Yeah. So bumblebees are super docile, out foraging. You try to approach a bumblebee. I try to take pictures of pollinators all the time. You get close, they fly away. They are not aggressive out on the field. However, if you get to a bumblebee colony, they will defend that colony heavily. I learned that the hard way. I got stung up pretty good because I went in with a honeybee mentality. And I walked out learning a whole lot from that experience.
That's exactly what my mentor said, Brian. He's like, a bumblebee? He was like, you better go in double suited. He's like,
and I got all mad. I got all mad at him. I was like, what's the problem? My honeybees are all gentle when I go into it. But then I stepped back and I thought about it. Really, that is a natural behavior when approaching an animal's home, right?
Yeah. What would
it's
you
the
do?
Honeybee that has the abnormal behavior when you broach it. You open it up and they're like, yep, just still working.
Yep.
And that was the mentality I went into it with. So I went back, I taped up my ankles. That's my advice. They're little ankle stingers, right? They started going for the head. And at first I was like, yeah, no problem. I got my jacket on. And then, honeybees just keep doing that. Right? Bumblebees went, that's not working. What else? And they went and found any other place they could sting me.
Ooh.
So
how many times did you get hit?
3, and they hurt worse than honeybees. Like I don't mind getting stung, and I didn't want to get stung by bumblebees again.
I know bumblebees get hurt. I've been hit by them. I'm just curious.
Yeah. And what was interesting is I've rehomed 2 bumblebees colonies. Both of them were in like piles of grass, like lawn clippings, right? In someone's backyard.
I love piles of grass.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they?
Oh yeah.
So one of them was luckily in a wheelbarrow. So once I figured out exactly where it was, I was able to put a shovel right underneath it, right in the wheelbarrow, and pick it up, put it in a Jester nuke box, close the nuke box, and then I came back at night because all the flyers needed time to come back to the colony. Come back at night, just like a honeybee colony, close up the entrance, and then you can walk away with it. And I kept them on the side of my house for that season. And we'd run by.
How did they do overall? How did they do overall? Did you end up, what was the end result with all that?
Well, those colonies are annual colonies, so they die at the end of every year. They're just like yellow jacket colonies. So it's like, think of it like an annual plant, like a sunflower plant is going to die at the end of the season, but it's going to drop a whole bunch of seeds for the next season. Yep. That's what colonies like yellow jackets do. That's what honeybee colonies do, at least in the temperate zone, right?
Yeah.
So they make a whole bunch of queens, in the fall, those queens go out and mate, and then those mated queens overwinter somewhere on their own. That colony dies, but those first bees that come out, those first bumblebees that come out in the spring, they're queens, and they all start new colonies.
Wow.
Now,
what a completely different dynamic than honeybees,
it
right?
gets
So
even
I
more-
always try to compare it like the
more
perennial plant to the annual plant, right? Bumblebees and honeybees. It's a pretty good comparison.
No, that's a grand thing. Brian, thank you so much.
Yeah, that was awesome. I would like to have keep carpenter bees, man, or honey or bumblebees, man. Just to test it.
Your own colony.
Okay.
They're difficult. I haven't gotten one to successfully work yet.
Okay.
So the basic things to keep in mind is if you see a queen on a flower, then she's in power.
Okay.
She's already got a colony started. Do not don't try to make a colony with her. She's already got larvae and a nest to build. But if you ever see one and it's not going to any flowers, it's just kind of looking around. It'll go around a building and it's going down near the ground. It's hunting.
Okay.
It's looking for a home.
Nest.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen that before. Interesting.
And they've caught them before, and then they'll feed them like sugar water.
Okay.
And they'll keep them in that box locked up for a couple of days. Then they'll release after she's already been forced to start building.
Okay.
Then they'll release her so she'll want to come back.
No kidding.
And I tried that last year. I caught one that was looking for a nesting spot. It was trying to nest in a bag of straw. I saw it come over to it, and I was like, "Oh no, you're not getting in there." I grabbed it with a queen bee clip, and I put it in a box with some. I was trying the dryer, where you pull out the dryer trap. I was trying that, but she didn't seem to like that too much.
You know what my mentor said he used? A cigar box, dude. When he was trying to.
Well, I had a little box for her.
Yeah.
And I kept her in there for a couple of days, fed her sugar water, and then I opened it, but she didn't. It looked like she might have been building a nest, but she didn't return to it. So
Okay.
That's
awesome. That's awesome.
They naturally seek out mouse holes.
Okay.
Yep.
The insulation that they gather.
So they'll take over a mouse home somewhere. Yep, that's very common.
Yeah, they want that insulation.
Sorry.
The insulation that the mouse gathers.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're also opportunists.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's
the attic and gotten into the fiberglass and made a heck of a good home there. And but it's very interesting what you're talking about, them all dying off, because I didn't want to mess with them, and I get up there in the spring and expecting something to be there, right?
Yeah.
And there's not, huh?
No. So that explains a lot. That's really helpful. So what are you guys doing with your hives right now? I mean, are you guys going into them, or?
I'll probably do a check here in the next week or two.
Okay.
We're supposed to get some water. My bees are bringing in pollen. It's very little right now. Very little pollen right now. I don't know where they're getting it from, but shit, they're bringing it in, man.
Yeah.
And there is brood in there for sure.
Okay.
There is brood because they're out there fanning every day for sure. So they're keeping something regulated in there. I don't know how big the brood chamber is because, I'm not going to break it open. They've pretty much waxed everything together, the whole brood chamber. And what my mentor John told me, he's like, yeah, don't mess with it. Go in there in the spring. Then you can break it open, look at it, and maybe put some foundation in there to have them start drawing out a new brood chamber. But that brood chamber that we took out of that colony, that's their original brood chamber. And once I dropped it in the box, they went to work sealing it all together and making however they wanted. And last time I looked in it, they had built bridges and holes all through this brood chamber, basically. So yeah.
Wow.
Yep, they're doing good. They're strong. They're flying. So yeah, I'm gonna wait probably a couple more weeks before I go on mine. I got pollen and sugar on them.
Now, how about by the way, hi Grayson. We're not ignoring you that much.
Yeah, hey Earl too. It's good to see Earl in the chat too.
Is he in there?
Yeah, Earl's here. Yeah,
looks like he's talking about making like a queen lure and alcohol.
Yeah, he cuts up his dead queens and uses it as a scent. Yeah.
Yeah, I do that too.
Yep, that's what my mentor does. Oh man, save your dead queens, man. Throw them in a little bottle. Keep saving them.
Might as well. Here's my other tip with queens. If you're ever gonna like kill a queen, like call a queen to replace it, use that queen that you're gonna kill. Practice picking up a queen, right? If you're gonna kill her anyway, you might as well use that for a little bit of learning. And I'm not saying torture her or anything, but take that opportunity just to practice a little bit. If you're wanting to get better at your queen handling skills, there's a queen that you're gonna kill anyway. So it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, good idea. Yep. So practice marking your queen.
Here's a question for you guys on replacing queens. So we've got several queens that just weren't performing all that well. And I got to thinking, well, wait a second. You know, I'm going to requeen them in the spring. And I thought, yeah, but it's still kicking out. It's still doing some. And I was going to put them in 5 frames and let them, you know, just loosen there and just use it as a resource hive just to let them build up a population and draw a comb. And so on. So do you guys ever recycle your replaced queens?
I'm going to do what my mentor says. Replace your queen when she needs to be replaced. That's I'm going to listen to what he says.
Right. That's in the main hive. But I was thinking about, you know, rather than culling that queen, as long as it's not a hot queen, right? Then it's toast. But, you know, taking the queen.
I have a couple of situations where I do that. Now I'm in the place too where I'm replacing my queens a lot. So I think it's best practice to keep your queens pretty young. However, there's a couple of queens that I've kept around for a couple of different reasons. One, if good genetics, I'm going to keep her around just so I can keep getting some of her daughters off of her. So I've got one queen that's a 2020 queen that I've been breeding off of slow. That I'm going to keep around. I'm not sure if she's going to make it this year. I'll probably replace her this year, but that's one that I've kept around for a while. And then every year, I'll keep one queen that I know is just petering out, and I'll keep her around for my observation hive. So when I take a queen to the market on a frame, that's the queen I'll use. So I'm not messing with one of my good colonies. I'm not messing with one of my good queens. I still have her around, and this is my theory. I don't know if this is true or not. There's data saying that queens are photosensitive. They're sensitive to light, right? Yeah. They hide, they go run in the dark. I think that as queens get older, they start to lose that photosensitivity.
Interesting.
I've seen my older queens, and this is how I came up with this theory. Maybe it's just this one queen, right? Sample size of one isn't very large, so... But we took this one queen to the market all the time, and she would hang out in the middle of the frame all day long. And the observation hive I have has like a wooden strip across the top that usually the queens are hiding behind. This one queen on the frame all day long, and it was awesome because you could be like, to kids, somewhere in there is a queen with a blue dot on her. And immediately they're like, oh, there she is.
That's wonderful.
So just a great conversation piece.
Yeah. Hey, Richard, take Eugene's thing there?
Yeah. So Heroes of the Hive, dude, if you're a veteran, there's a program out, and it's going to teach you a foundation to keep bees, dude. Click that link if you're interested. I urge you to sign up and get into it. 100%, man.
Now, there is a Hives to Heroes program, too, isn't there?
Right. That's for mentors. I'm trying to get my mentor to sign his ass up for that because he needs to be in there.
The one I belong to.
Yeah, so there's Heroes to Hives. Then there's Hives. I'll put the links in here for you guys. They're taking any kind of mentors. You don't have to be a veteran for this. If there's any experienced beekeepers out there, man, sign up for this because they really do need mentors, man. They really.
Honestly, it's so doggone rewarding. I mean, it really is. From a mentor standpoint.
Yeah, it really is. What a better take on a veteran that wants to learn about bees, man.
Yeah, it's good fun there and all that kind of stuff.
It absolutely is.
So I got another question for you here. So we use like nukes basically as resources, obviously, but I was thinking about making a bunch of medium fireframe boxes, and then putting those on top of the nukes, letting them draw out basically honey supers. Have you guys ever done anything like that?
I've got some honey super nukes in the building.
With the mediums?
I don't know if they're mediums or shallows. I haven't really looked at them.
But either way, you're going for, yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I didn't make them. They were in the used equipment lot I bought.
Really?
Yeah.
It just seems like an obvious thing to do. I mean, it's as long as they're going to, put them in there, put them to work,
Hi,
let
Kitty.
them go off frame. And that's something that a lot of people don't do, which is really kind of surprising to me, is that if you have a nuke, my gosh, use the doggone thing as a comb drawing machine. Plastic line, comb is golden, so.
I got to build comb, and that's what I want to do. I want to get a couple nukes somewhere close and just have them just for drawing out comb, man.
Yeah.
That's it. I see your cat back there focused on something. She's like, hey, I'm looking at something.
Yeah, he's having a good old time there.
He's like, hey, I see something.
What are you looking at? That thing is scary intelligent, by the way.
Oh, he's figuring something out. I see him figuring something out right now.
Yeah, I think he's trying to right now. I think he's trying to figure out how to groom himself. He's got some. He's up there, and where are you doing? Okay. Oh, are you watching?
He's all, hey, am I live? He's all, hey, everybody, how you doing?
That doggone cat. Okay, so when I have people come on over to the cabin, and if he likes them, he will literally get up on the roof and then run the roof line showing off.
No way.
That's awesome.
I am absolutely. Well, we've got a back deck here, and I put steps on the deck so they can get up to the pergola, and then from the pergola onto the roof.
Yeah.
And my cat entertainment system, as long as you're going to have a cattery and rescue cats, you got to keep them busy. And yeah, he just gets up there and he's like running around like, hey, I'm special and I like you. And, yeah.
No way.
He puts
Big
on a
show
show.
off, huh?
Yeah, he really does. He really does.
Funny guy, man.
He's such a people. Siamese are such people persons. It's people cats. It's kind of. It's
like we have 4 cats, and our doorbell rings. 3 of them run and hide under beds, and 1 of them runs to the door.
There you go.
Who's here now? It's
you
so
know
weird.
what I'm talking about, yeah.
And that cat doesn't want to go outside. Doesn't want to sniff the plants or anything. Just wants to stay inside and hang out with people.
Yeah. It's good fun. It really is.
The way cats groom themselves, he's like, hey, can you do this with your leg?
Yeah, if I was that flexible, even at my age, I'd probably still be in the ring fighting. Like I can bend in 8 different directions. So what do you guys got? Okay, so we're going to have a cold snap here, a good cold snap. We're getting towards the end of January. And usually about the second or third or fourth weekend in February, we're actually going into the hives, just open them up and looking for resources and swapping out. We'll even put down a pollen sub at that time. And that's just the winter thing that we do here.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just wondering, when do you guys actually gear up? You say, okay, winter's over. I know they're bringing in pollen or whatever, but now we're actually going to really try and bring them out of this whole like wintering situation.
End of February.
And for us, it's definitely later than that. In late winter, we get really sporadic temperatures. So we'll have like a 60-something degree day. So there'll be times in the late winter, early spring where I can go in and check on my sugar bricks and replace them if need be, or check on food stores. I can just heft them and know if they're light, and I can replace the sugar bricks then. Yeah. But I'm not going to go in and do my first full brood inspection like that. I don't know if that's your question. When do you do your first?
No, not at all. I'm just actually looking for resources to make sure they got food.
That's the first thing I do. I go in and I make sure they're alive and I make sure they have food. And that's usually, it's one of those opportunist times. Usually whenever in March it allows me.
Yeah. That's what my mentor said. February, March, because we even get here in April, sometimes we'll get one more cold snap in April. Middle of April, around Easter sometime. We'll get one final little, not hard freeze, but one little frost. One little end frost in the spring. So that's what my mentor said. Be careful of that one. He said you'll go in there and we'll get that snap, man. He's like, so
actually, okay, so my old Norwegian grandpa, I asked him once, he was in his 80s, when do you plant corn? When did you determine to plant corn? And he said, May 25th. And I asked him, well, why? He says, because of May 25th, I'd never seen a hard frost at that date beyond that. So listen to the old folk. You know, you do get those weather variations, right? You know, just kind of doing that. But I guess the only thing that I've got going on right now is that I want to pop all the entrance reducers off the bottom and pull off the bee drop. And I'll do mite wash on all the bee drop that I can get out of there. Now, a couple of the entrances are so wedged in there, I don't even think I can get them out.
Yeah.
That's the only other thing that I'm doing now before that. And it's really kind of interesting. We can get enough bee drop here that, and I'm sure you guys have all seen people do this, but you want to put your doggone entrance reducers in upside down, because if you get enough bee drop in there, they will plug the entrance.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's whenever I see somebody keeping bees up in our area and they've got the entrance, you know, in normal position, I'm like, dude. So.
And I'm guessing that's for like when it gets really cold. I don't have big bee drops like you guys do. Last time I was in, I didn't see a bunch of dead bees in the bottom of my box.
You know, I'm not getting them now, but the initial bee drop from the remaining foragers and the older bees, that's when I'm seeing that. Try to play something. What Philip?
What they're talking about is Facebook, because Hillbilly and Philip are signed up on Hives for Heroes.
Yeah.
As mentors, and you have to. I get you guys, man. He said after signing up for Facebook, it's just BS. And I think ultimately what it is so they have a way to keep in contact with you, so they can place you with a mentee. You know, like that would be the one benefit of it, so they can actually get in touch with you. Because ultimately, Facebook, I mean, that's probably how they would pair you, because they're going to pair you by your location. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what he was saying. He's besides being a waste of time, they try to play social engineers. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they were pushing Facebook, and I just told them flat out, F that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to, no. Here's my email address and my phone number. You do what you want with it. And I'm not going to do that dance. And by the way, there's a YouTube channel if you want to, somebody wants to put questions or comments on there. But I'm right there with you, Philip.
Yeah, I am too. I use Facebook for a certain reason, but that's it. I don't use for anything else.
Yeah, and honestly, I probably have to make like a minor account here just because I want to be able to do the marketplace thing as well as Craigslist.
Yeah.
But I'll probably put a little picture on it that says, I'm doing this under duress.
Mike, I am 50 years old, and I was 49 when I got a Facebook and Instagram account, and it was only for my business. We use it only to market ourselves, to network with people, to communicate.
There we go.
The fact is this, YouTube is social media too. So if we're on here every single night, don't think we're not being influenced by a different social media machine.
I know. I'm right there with you. It drives me nuts. I wish everybody was running out, moving
so
over.
Pick your poison.
Something like that. But
what's your poison, y'all?
Yeah, exactly. So we're doing that kind of like crap dance. Garrison, I have only one of my hives with a large bee drop. The other 8 have kept them clean. Garrison, what kind of climate area? What state are you in there?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to scrape out my box too. That's one thing I noticed.
DC. And DC's in Washington State.
Yeah, Philip, I got you.
Galloway says, now you tell me to flip the entrance reducer.
You know, Mike, I'm spending a lot of time right now. I've got most of my equipment already. There's a couple of things I need to fix up that I know were kind of rough at the end of last season. Doing a lot of planning for my season, right? I have some plans. I have some applications to put in, and I'm doing a lot of reading. I don't get a chance to read much during the beekeeping season, so
it's good to read in the off season, huh?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, get some reading time. Yeah, catch up. Yep.
Yeah, I'm reading the 1960 version of the Hive and the Honeybee.
Nice. Hey, Eugene, thanks for your service, man.
Yeah, amen, Eugene.
Yeah. This is a beekeeping chat, and you know, if you want to get in on beekeeping, man, all these guys here will help you.
Yeah. Ask anything you want. And
no dumb question here, man. You want to get into beekeeping, anybody in this group will help you. A lot of these guys are veterans.
we will bend over backwards to give you a hand. And if you you can go into any of our YouTube channels and put questions in there, and we will do our best to get back to you.
Yeah.
So,
all these guys here at Help, man. There's a plethora of information on beekeeping on social media, man.
I like that. Frank is like, yeah, we're feeding the addiction.
It's like
it's absolutely true, but
it is. You give up one addiction for the other. Like if you're a gambler, like this would be the perfect addiction for you to switch over to, because you would still spend money, right? And you would still have the chance of losing your bees, you know. So definitely you would still have that rush of losing money, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, you would be helping pollinate.
And if you're missing the adrenaline, you still got things trying to kill you.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a bad humor joke there, but
anyway. No. And Eugene, the whole thing with Heroes to Hives, let me tell you about it. It's a mental health based class, man. Healing through beekeeping, mental health rehabilitation through beekeeping. That was the whole get down on it. And it was the whole Heroes to Hives was put into place after World War I. I don't say Heroes to Hives, but soldiers come.
Really? Get out of here.
No, not this. Let me back up. Take that back. After World War I, when we didn't know what shell shock or PTSD was or anything, right? People were coming back screwed up because trench warfare was dirty. We all know that. We don't got to go there.
Yeah.
But they were putting the service members back into beekeeping, and they did really, really well at it. They did very good at it. That's why they started it again. Like this guy that started Heroes to Hives, they looked at the program earlier on from World War I, and it was a complete success. So
there's a side note, a back note to that whole story too, because during World War I and World War II, honey prices were really high.
Yes.
I mean, that's that 1960s Hive and the Honeybee goes into the economics of the world wars and how it affected the honeys.
Oh, huge.
Yeah, and they were putting restrictions on how much you could charge for honey.
Yep.
And then after that came out, then the sugar came back in and things started collapsing, especially after World War II. But there's the other part of it. That's what a great thing to encourage a vet to do, to go into where they were actually going to make some good money.
Yeah.
So
look,
it's kind of out there, but
right here.
Look, can you zoom that up?
Yeah, let me see if I can get it in here closer for you guys.
Where did you find that, by the way? What's that from?
Googled it, man. And these were actual pictures that they brought up in the Heroes to Hives. Look, you got disabled veterans here. You got one missing a leg right here. Dude's missing a leg.
Fantastic.
Look at this. Yeah, look, you got beehives here. Look at all these boxes out here training these veterans. Look, guys missing a leg. These are all disabled veterans right here, guys.
Yeah,
and this is what they did. No bullshit. They're like, okay, what can we do for these guys coming back for more?
Is there a title to that so you can tell where that picture was taken?
Dude, I just Googled beekeepers World War I.
Sounds good.
Yep, that's it, man.
Okay.
So yeah, look.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I love the veils too. They got the heavy white on there.
Yeah, it's like cheesecloth almost, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I just went
that is so cool. Okay, you've just hit me with another addiction, because I am a big history buff.
Oh, I'm a history major, actually, Mike.
Are you really?
Yeah. That's why I dig this kind of thing, like going into the history of stuff like this. Look at this. Check it. Look at it. Look at this.
That is wonderful.
Pretty bitchin', right?
Yeah. Oh,
this is World War I return era. Okay.
Yeah, I can recognize the uniform, but
the uniform. This is World War I. So this is what the Army did for veterans coming back. They put them in the bee yard, man.
And there was a demand.
There was a huge demand.
Yeah, heavy demand. It's just
awesome, Nelson. Okay, so you got 10 colonies. Nice, man. And don't really care for using chemicals. Okay, cool. Right on. Yeah.
Eugene, I don't either, but I do use thymol and formic and oxalic. So
yeah, if I have to treat, if I don't have to treat, it's all the same to me. Treat or not to treat, it's going to be all the same to me, man.
Yeah.
It really is. If they need it, guess what? They're going to get treated, man. If they don't
Oh,
need
I
it,
guess that's my next question here. The guys on here now, mind you, I can't see the audience as far as like chats and that kind of stuff.
No.
But I was going to ask everybody here what your spring mite treatments are.
I've never done a mite treatment on these girls that I have. It's a feral colony. I'm real curious, really, to see what their mite load is.
Yeah, I was wondering what your mentor was doing. Does he do spring mite treatments?
How he does his, he says if he finds mites in one colony in a yard, he'll treat the whole yard.
Oh yeah, but what's he doing?
Oh, I think he does thymol.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I think sometimes he'll use the strips, the Apivar strips. I think he's using those for a bit. I don't know if he's still using them, but I know me and him definitely want to try some different things that are on the market, and just to see, what there is. I'm definitely about trying the food grade thymol concentrate and, figuring something out there on that end, because what's that?
I said very interesting. Brian, Spanky, what are you guys up to?
Donnie Fletcher, Apivar when needed.
Yeah, so part of my management system kind of doesn't include spring treatment, and that's kind of intentional, Mike. I do oxalic vaporization around mid-November when I put the bees to bed, and then again around the solstice. And my hope is that I'm zeroing out my colonies for the spring. Now, I know that's probably not complete, so I also do a lot of splits in the spring. One of my goals is to get a lot better at monitoring for mites so I can find those queens I really want to breed off of. So I really haven't done much mite monitoring in the spring. I just zero them out in the winter and then split hard in the spring. And then as soon as I'm pulling my honey supers off, because I just get one flow, right?
Yeah, same here.
After my honey supers are off, then my heavy mite treatments will start. Now, I do want to start monitoring better in the spring, and I would use like a Formic or even Apivar. I would be okay with using if the temperature was right. It would depend on the situation. But that's kind of typically what I do.
Okay. Spanky, how about you in the spring?
Well, I gotta get some bees first.
Garrison saying he's getting nuked straight out of California with mites, and you're getting your swarms immediate with OAV. I don't blame you. I think if I was doing that,
sorry, go ahead, Rich.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Please.
Yeah, I was just responding to Garrison in the comments saying that he hits every swarm he catches with OAV. I think that's a smart practice as well. I've gotten some swarms that I've seen mites literally with my eyes crawling on the bees. So I think that's important.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Garrison. If I ever catch a swarm, I think that's the first thing I'll do, pull a mite test. Just kill 300 right there. Sacrifice the 300 right there and knock them out.
It beats a flamethrower.
Right? No kidding, right? It beats burning all your gear.
Yeah.
God, man. I'm with you. That sucks to get nukes coming straight out of California with mites.
Yeah. And actually, that's the only time that we've ever had hive beetles up here, too.
Getting them out of nukes?
Nukes or packages, whatever. And then they're gone by spring. But, it's just kind of an interesting thing that popped up there. I think this spring, what I'm going to do is see how they're gearing up and whatnot. I'll do frame equalization and so on. And I'm going to be doing the Formic, but I'm doing a single pad for 10 days. Second pad for 10 days. And so I'm not really inhibiting the queen and damaging potentially with the heavy Formic load. And I got that from a queen breeder in Iowa here. And
see, and this is stuff I'm still first year, you guys, so I'm learning from you guys on how to treat, and I've never dealt with a Varroa load yet. You know? So I'm prepared. I'm mentally preparing for what needs to be done at that point.
Yeah,
I want to be ready for it because I know it's going to happen at some point. I know it's going to happen.
Yeah, so you got that dance to go around, and and then for the first time this year, I think I'm actually going to start hitting the hives with oxalic like once every week, just to puff some in there.
Like Sawmill was doing. Remember how Sawmill was saying he was doing it about once a month at the end of the month during the winter when there was, no brood and no supers on. He was like, I was hitting them 2-3 times a month.
Yeah. So we've done that here. If I can see honeybees at the entrance, I know they've broken a cluster.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then I do hit them with that. And give that a run. But that's my watchword here. Now, my hives are fairly well insulated, not nearly as well as Russell Koopman's. I mean, he could hit those things and go pretty hard on that. But that's what I'm looking for here. And then also, after the formic goes on there, right before the honey flow. So actually, we'll probably do it in May. We're going to put the extended shop towels on there.
Okay.
And
try that method, huh? See how it works.
Well, actually, we've been doing that.
Okay.
And there's been several fairly large commercial operations that have been doing that in Minnesota. Well, someplace on the planet. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
And what they found is that, it will not rid your hives of mice, but it is a good maintenance thing.
It's preventative, almost.
Yeah.
Preventative,
Yeah, holding the load, I should say.
Yeah.
Is the wording I should be looking for. So.
Kind of keep the load in check.
Yeah.
Yep. Not necessarily kill it or make it better.
Yeah. And then even when I have the honey supers on there, I'm going to hit by the way, if nobody's ever done this before, it's pretty doggone entertaining. And I've brought this up in several different channels, but one of the things that you can do is get some powdered sugar and pour it in between the frames. Now, if you got screen bottom boards, it's really interesting. You would be shocked at the amount of mice that those doggone things will groom off once you just dump in a bunch of powdered sugar. And it makes that grooming reaction go on crack.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Now, if you've got ants all over your yard or something like that, there's probably a reason why you wouldn't want to do that. But I've done that on occasion, just rather than doing, a bee wash or whatever. I'm just like, okay, I'm going to take like umpteen cups of powdered sugar and dump in this hive and see what happens and check the screen board. It's really interesting. By the way, if you have a hive that's being robbed, one of the things that you can do is dump powdered sugar all over. And I got this from Fred Dunn. Be right up front with that. You can take the powdered sugar and pour it all over the bees at the entrance there, and then watch where those robber bees go. And that gets kind of interesting. You can track and find out what hive is robbing which one. Now, what do you do with that information? Yeah, it's not important. But it's just one more thing that you can play with there as far as powdered sugar. Sorry.
I know there's bees all over the place here because when I was feeding this last summer, they're coming from all over the place. So I know there's going to be robin eventually, and I know there's probably some Africanized bees somewhere around here.
Oh, by the way, Brian was making the very astute observation. This is the time you want to be doing your inventory. Put your orders together. If you're going to get boxes of supers or doing splits or bottoms or, even feed and your mite treatments, this is the time to take inventory. What do you have on hand for mite treatments? I went to get Apogard last year, but unfortunately I screwed up on schedule and I couldn't find Apogard. I buy it by the bucket. And the only place I found it was at Dayton. And so get your stuff early. Get it lined up.
Yep. Have a plan. Have a plan.
Yeah. But the thing that made me go off on that tirade was that everybody should have robber guards ready to throw in their hives.
Yeah.
Have enough for every single hive in your yard. And odds are it's not an issue. But if you do have something robbing, and in Brian's case, in my case too, when we do splits, initially you do want to put the robber guard on there. To me, because I've actually seen the nukes just completely robbed out because I did the splits and I wasn't feeding the other bees.
Yep.
I'm like, So it was really, I actually took a pair. I had 4 nukes and they were sitting on one of the back decks here and I did the splits to the introduction. I get up in the morning, I'm looking at them like, these things they're getting robbed out. So I literally took them and put them on the back trunk of my Grand Marquis and drove them a mile away and put them in another place. So I'm driving down the peninsula here with all the people and the fishermen walking around. I got beehives on the back of the car. It's like, what are you doing?
Man,
You know, I guess I've been lucky because I've never had any robbing issues in the spring. I've
That's
had fall robbing
fantastic.
issues, but as I've made my splits, I've always kept my entrances small.
Yeah.
I learned really early in my career when I had some robbing issues that I created from being sloppy with feed, right? Spilling stuff around and,
Yeah.
gaps in boxes, that kind of stuff. I learned to
Yep.
fix that really quick. But I've never, luckily, once again, knock on wood, I haven't had the spring problems.
You
Just
have
in
a
the
good.
fall.
Do you have a good flow there in the spring though? I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, and that's when I'm doing my split. So that's
Okay.
kind of what I'm thinking is they're busy out with the
Foraging.
natural
Yep.
food. Yeah, they don't
Right.
need to fight.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like that's why you say you're doing your splits when they're out there foraging.
But,
There's nothing to fight
but
over.
wouldn't that be the same for you, Mike?
No.
Okay.
Wow,
No.
really?
Yeah. Right about when we're doing splits here, the nectar flow has not started. And it's
Wow.
going to vary from year to year tremendously, though, too. So,
Okay.
Okay.
um,
Oh, wow.
so I can't make any quick generalization here. But as a rule of thumb, no. When I'm doing the splits, like in May or something like that,
Yeah.
the flow hasn't started. So we'll start seeing the flow usually in the beginning of June, second week of June. And I'd like to see something before that, but that's just the nature of where I live, too.
Yeah, that's
So you
crazy.
put your honey supers on that late?
It depends upon what I'm seeing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
It's
crazy.
Yeah, it really is. But we've got a couple of unique things going on here, though. Right where I live, the weather pattern literally splits around our lake. Whether it's coming from the north, south, east, or west, it will split over our lake. And we
Yeah.
had a guy here that was 89 years old. He says, "No, it's been that way all my life." So
And what lake are you close to, Mike?
I live on the south side of Coon Lake. It's
Okay.
about 30 miles north of the Twin Cities,
Okay.
and it's basically rural, but
Okay.
it's an 1,800 acre shallow lake. And but I'm surrounded by all sorts of other lakes. In fact, right off the back of the cabin here, we actually have a bog. Now, a bog is actually a covered lake. There's a lake
Yep.
there. I know I fell through it once one winter. That gets really entertaining. But so we got all sorts of swamps around here. So that's a blessing
Yep.
and curse in its own way because you get a limited amount of flowers that'll grow in the swamps. But the first thing in the spring, I get pussy willow pollen coming in so hard and fast that by the time the maple comes up, I actually have to watch out so my hives don't get pollen bound.
Wow. Okay.
And then they'll swarm early. So it's a watchword. You got to be going through those doggone hives pretty doggone hard. But no, I am putting the honey supers on that late. It depends upon the strength of the hive, though, Brian.
Okay.
Because if the hives are really, really strong, and I do single brood box management, but I will put honey supers on there just to give them more space and let them mess around. If I might even put a small feeder on there, or even a bucket feeder, but I only put 3 holes in it, so they're being trickle fed. So they are seeing a little bit going on there. So
God, what a way different dynamic from Colorado to where you're at, Mike.
Isn't it just amazing?
Yeah.
And this is
Yes.
my tirade on every bee show I'm on. Beekeeping is regional.
Yes.
Don't
And
listen to somebody.
this proves it right here. Once again, it proves it.
Yeah, it's good.
So
fun.
when do you typically pull your honey supers off? Do you get a second flow? Tell us about that.
Yeah.
No. I would love to get a second flow. We do get second flows here, but closer to the Wisconsin border where it's pretty much drought proof. And last year, Troy and I, we were driving towards the Wisconsin border, and we were seeing fields and fields and fields of ragweed. And we just both went, "Oh shit!" Wish we could have hives there. I mean, we're driving along, and just both of us are kind of doing the rubberneck. One of us is supposed to be driving, but we're doing this. It just saw it forever, and that's when you get a secondary flow here. That's about it, and it's pretty rare and far between. So, but that's again just my immediate location. Now, what's somebody going to be getting like 10 miles to the north of me? I'm actually going to be talking to a beekeeper up there who's been keeping bees up there for 35 years.
Wow.
And it's going to be very, very interesting to see how that works out. And by the way, he's interested in selling his equipment, and I'm going to be going there with a couple of the veterans.
Awesome,
and we're looking at actually absorbing his business. But I want to sit down and talk to this guy for quite a few hours.
Hey, take a voice recorder with you or something.
Oh, no. I'm going to ask him if I can record it.
That's what I mean. Record it.
Video.
Yes, please record it. Yes, because I need to get my mentor on camera too.
I was going to ask.
Yes, I need to drag his ass down here to my studio and be like, John, you sit right here in front of this camera, and I'm just going to ask you questions and you talk.
Yeah.
Because I really would. I need to get him talking on camera because he does. He wants to write a book too, but I figure the best way is just to get him talking out here with you guys. With all
because we have an opportunity. Absolutely.
Yes,
and if they're willing to do it.
Yeah, and I think now it's off season. I need to get him down here one night or on maybe during the day and do a morning podcast with him for a few hours.
Yeah,
definitely because I do like how you're saying you want to sit down with this guy because he's been beekeeping in the same place for 35 years. Same here with my mentor. He's been down here in Texas for 40 years keeping bees, man.
There you go.
Yeah,
so, I'm going to run here, but Garrison brought up something here. Apigard almost doubled in price this year. Now, are you buying it in the little packets? Or you are buying it in the tub? Okay. Well, that's Flower Street. The tub. Yeah, it's about $1.30 at the Dayton site, and I think Man Lake is about the same. But I was wondering what you were buying for the Apigard. If you're buying the goofy little packets, and and if that works out for you, that's fantastic for your stock. But where is he getting this price of the Apigard almost doubling, and who are you going through? So you can jump in there and
supply and demand, brother.
Yeah, amen.
Yeah, inflation, supply and demand.
Yeah,
market's about to flip, y'all. Just be patient.
Yeah,
market's gonna flip right now, man, and things
again,
are gonna get more expensive.
To Brian's point, do your inventory. Do it now. And if you don't have the cash to put it together, try and work your budget out. Budget yourself, and before anything else, see about getting your mite treatments in line. And then my recommendation would be, the additional boxes or whatever that you need to do splits if you're going to do some. That's just my opinion. So anyways,
good, Mike.
You guys have a great night, and wonderful to talk to you all there and all that kind of good stuff. And Spanky, you're so annoying. I just wanted to see if you were listening. I know you are.
Thank you.
I'm just giving you crap, brother.
Yeah, I love Spanky, man.
Yeah, I do too.
You be good, Mike. Thanks for stopping in, man.
You take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I'm gonna get going too, Rich. Thanks for hosting us.
Yeah, I think so too, man. It's getting late here. It's 11 o'clock. Yeah, it's 11 o'clock.
Yeah, Spanky, have a good night. Maybe we'll see you guys tomorrow night. The Canadian chat. That'll be fun.
Right, eh? See y'all tomorrow, man. Y'all have a good night. Garrison.
Take it easy.
Hillbilly. Eugene, Galloway, Philip, y'all. Yeah, I'm going to give shout outs here before I shut it down. Let's see here. Stuffy. Ian, thanks for stopping in, man. Silver Gorilla. DC's Blessed Bees.
Yeah, thanks the guy from Jamaica. That was super fun.
Larimore Forums. Yeah, the dude down from Jamaica. Dude, thanks for stopping in, man. Soaps and Suds. She was in here too. Sorry I didn't give a shout out to you. I didn't see you drop in, Soaps and Suds. She was in here for a bit. Who else do we have? The B-Man. Sean Booter. I never saw this one in here.
Grayson was in for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I saw he was in here. He was in there. Yeah, Galloway. J&D's Bees. Dennis Barney.
Stuffy. I've never seen him before. So, do you guys know Stuffy? He was here for a while.
Yeah, Stuffy was Manitoba.
He's a new one for me.
Yeah.
Philip was here.
Yeah, Philip Morris, RTX Texas. He was down here. Who else do we have?
I'm going to have to go to Texas and eat me some wild hog, huh?
Dude, it's pretty good, man. Yeah.
I do love bacon.
Bald Eagle. He was new to the chat tonight.
Yeah. Nice to meet you, Bald Eagle.
Yeah, you too, Bald Eagle. Nice to meet you. J&D's Bees. I think this was one of the first times J&D's Bees has been in here. Maybe.
I've seen him in other chats.
Okay, cool.
Or him or her, I'm assuming. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's a couple there. Chavez, that's one of my guys right there. That's my boy. Dennis Barney. Who else do we have in here? Hope Sadler. Okay, that was when we first started. Yeah. All right, guys. You have a good night, man. Catch y'all later at the next chat. Y'all
take care.
Thanks for being here, you guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for all your guys' input, man, and your knowledge.
Thanks for hosting.
Yeah, no, appreciate it, man. And you guys all be good.
You too.
Rah.